Wonderful listeners. Mira here, bringing you a burst of sunshine straight from our Jersofe studios, where even the coffee machine occasionally tries to join my dance moves. Oh, this week was a whirlwind of unexpected joy. I was at the grocery store, just trying to pick out some avocados when this incredible salsa track came on. Before I knew it, my hips had a mind of their own, and I was mid-cha-cha in the produce aisle. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Their Almond. One mic to unmic, but I did manage to knock over a pyramid of Camille of Cantameno.
Mira, I swear, you're either going to lead a flash mob or accidentally start a riot in a supermarket one of these days.
Oh, Leo, your hostel window story sounds like a prime candidate for your next stand-up routine. A peek into local life. Indeed. Oh, you always manage to find the most unique accommodations, don't you? Always manage to find the most unique accommodations, don't you? Well, speaking of unique, today we're diving deep into two incredible countries that couldn't be more different, yet both hold so much to explore: Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Well, yeah. We're going from the hoinchon to uncover covers me, so uncovers me, covers something, covers something, covers something, coming covering, cutting, cutting, painting, compounding, compounding.
My unique accommodations always give me material Mira. My unique accommodations always give me material Mira. I'm pretty sure my landlord called it ventilated and community experience. Ouch. But yes, Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. A pairing so unexpected, it's either genius or pure madness. But hey, that's what we do here out there. Or dreaming me or me dreaming conscendant and about Belby Goblin 6 cents storage or simorys shikal or ending a barbical about this for about case.
Exactly, Leo. We want to cut through the noise and give you the real picture, so you can make informed decisions, whether you're planning a 2-week vacation or a whole new chapter of your life. We'll talk about everything from the bustling markets of Mogadishu to the rhythmic steel-pan bands of Port of Spain. Ooh, we'll explore the history, the food, the people, and maybe even tease out a few differences in their approaches to queuing. Because little things often reveal the most ignited. So, prepare to have your perspectives broadened and your wanderlust ignited.
Queuing approaches, Mira. Pithecoliding deep into the sociological nuances now. I can already see the documentary, The Art of the Line, a cross-cultural study. But seriously, this comparison is for anyone who has ever felt torn between a very different pair of different destinations or simply lots as now. But seriously, this comparisons are simply loves to learn about our incredible world. We're here to answer those nagging questions like which country has better incredible world. Medibul, I find my new favorite spicy dish there.
And if you're watching on YouTube and enjoying our banter, drop a comment below and tell us which country you're more curious about. Ooh, we love hearing from you and turning your stories into our next topic. So, let's start with the preamble and jump into our first topic, which is always a big one for any traveler or potential resident.
Indeed. We're about to unveil the fundamental distinctions between Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago, shedding light on every facet that might influence your decisions. Aha! This isn't just about helping you find your fit. Oh, let's get started.
So, we're talking about general safety and crime rates. When someone mentions Somalia, I immediately picture a movie scene with dusty roads and maybe, like, a treasure map leading to a well. Not exactly a safe place for my red sparkly shoes. But seriously, the perception is often quite grim, isn't it? We hear about conflict and unrest. Ouch! It makes me wonder what daily life is truly like beyond the headlines.
Oh, a treasure map, Mira. Fine. Knowing you, you probably try to charm a pirate into giving you directions to the nearest coffee shop. Wow. But you're right, the headlines are pretty consistent. Somalia's had a long-term struggle with civil conflict, and unfortunately, that does translate to significant challenges in general safety. We're talking about things like organized crime, terrorism, and unfortunately, high rates of violent crime in many areas. It's not exactly the place you'd go for a leisurely stroll to a place you'd go.
Whoa, bigger things indeed, Leo. You always manage to paint a vivid picture. Speaking of stark contrasts, let's jet off, literally, to Trinidad and Tobago. When I think of that, I imagine vibrant carnival, steel drums, and sunshine. Ooh, but even paradise has its shadows, right? What's the treasure map situation like there? Less pirates and more, say, mischievous monkeys with excellent distraction tactics.
Mira, you'd probably try to teach them a dance routine. Wow, Trinidad and Tobago definitely serves up a different kind of adventure on the safety front. While it doesn't face the same level of internal conflict as Somalia, it does grapple with serious issues like gang-related violence, drug trafficking, and petty crime, particularly in certain urban areas. So while you're enjoying the carnival, you'd still want to keep a very sharp eye on your phone and wallet.
But you're right. It's about being smart wherever you go, whether you're navigating dusty roads or dancing in a parade. It seems like for both places, understanding the local context is key. You can't just assume. I'm certain that our listeners who've traveled to these countries would agree with me, or maybe they have even crazier stories to share. Ooh, if you think this is wrong, please let us know in the comments when we upload this to YouTube. We love hearing your actual experiences.
Absolutely, Mira. And for those planning to observe these places firsthand, doing your homework on Jet Off AI is probably a smarter move than relying on a monkey's dance moves for safety advice. Ultimately, general safety is a spectrum, not a switch. From the extreme challenges of some regions in Somalia to the more localized crime issues in parts of Trinidad and Tobago, being informed is your best travel buddy.
When we talk about a country feeling like a big, cozy blanket or a puzzle that's missing half its pieces, we're really talking about political stability and social harmony, aren't we? It's like a secret sauce to a happy populace. Ugh.
I puzzle with missing pieces. Or maybe a puzzle where someone's constantly shaking the box, Mira. Whoa. I've seen some political situations that make a cat in a bathtub look calm. In some places, stable just means the chair hasn't fallen over yet.
Well, in Somalia's case, when we think political stability, it's often a complex tapestry woven with threads of immense resilience and constant race-stitching. The journey to a unified nation with its federal states and various regions has been, let's say, a marathon with a few too many unexpected hurdles. Ouch!
House? More like landmines on a track mirror. Whoa, it's like a perpetual who's in charge now. Game show, except the stakes are a bit higher than a new car. Wow, you've got federal states, regional governments, and then, other groups who aren't really playing by the same rulebook. It's a lot to unpack. I'm certain that our listeners following global news would agree with me. It's a tough situation.
But despite this, social harmony often emerges in unexpected ways, through community efforts and strong cultural ties. Oh, it's not always about grand political gestures. Sometimes it's neighbors helping neighbors, creating pockets of peace. Which brings us to a wildly different beat when we consider Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, here we go, from the geopolitical chessboard to a beach party. Speaking of different beats, you think all those bright costumes at Carnival are just for show? Well, nah, they're secretly preparing for election season. Wow, every 5 years, it's a new season of political theatrics, but at least they're usually back to beach limes by next Tuesday. It's stability, but with extra salsa.
Exactly. Trinidad and Tobago's political landscape is a vibrant, multi-ethnic democracy. They've had a consistent parliamentary system since independence, which is, honestly, a huge achievement. Sure, there are always debates and sometimes a little political pick and G, but the overall rhythm is one of peaceful transition.
Political pick and G? Is that like a Trinidadian diss track for politicians? I'd pay good money to hear that.
Trinidad and Tobago is often called a Kalalo society, a beautiful mix of African, Indian, European, and other cultures. Well, social harmony is woven into their everyday life, often expressed through shared festivals like Carnival, or holidays like Eid and Diwali. If you think this is wrong, please let us know in the comments when we upload this to YouTube.
Hey, Kalalo Society. Sounds like my stomach after visiting a new street food market. Whoa! All the ingredients mixed together, and you hope it doesn't cause indigestion. But it's fascinating how a place with such diverse origins manages to maintain that sense of unity. In Somalia, for example, the clan structure, while historically complex, also provides a form of social cohesion in some areas, offering protection and support, even if it has also been a source of conflict.
It's a very different kind of social glue, isn't it? One built on ancient loyalties, the other on a modern blend of identities. Oh, it really makes you appreciate how many different ways societies try to find their equilibrium, even when the ground beneath them is shifting. For anyone considering living or traveling to these unique places, understanding these deep-seated social dynamics is vital.
Absolutely. And if you're trying to figure out the nuances of these complex political and social landscapes, our friends at Jet I can help you navigate the information overload. Wow, they really break down the global complexities, so you don't end up accidentally joining a political rally when you just wanted to find a good cup of coffee.
Or a dance off at a protest. But seriously, whether it's the challenging yet resilient social fabric of Somalia or the vibrant, albeit sometimes spicy, harmony of Trinidad and Tobago, both countries offer profound insights into what political stability and social unity truly mean in practice. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube if you want more of these deep dives into other countries. Money, 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 money. It's always a journey, isn't it? My bank account feels like a roller coaster that only goes down. But hey, who needs a savings account when you have fabulous stories to tell, right?
Fabulous stories don't pay the rent, Mira. Ouch. Though I've tried. They just get you strange looks from your landlord. Speaking of financial adventures, let's dive into the economic conditions and cost of living in our two very distinct destinations today.
Oh, yes. Today, we're looking at Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. What a mix! It's like comparing a serene desert landscape to a vibrant, carnival-filled island. Wow, when we talk about economic conditions, these two really offer contrasting pictures for anyone curious about their financial realities.
Indeed. Let's start with Somalia. When I think economics there, I picture a very busy, resilient hustle. The formal economy is still piecing itself together, but the informal one? That's a whole different beast. It's like a grand, chaotic marketplace operating on its own rules. Well, my kind of anarchy, almost.
Oh, it absolutely is. And don't forget the heart of it, all the remittances. So much love and money flowing back home from the diaspora. It's like a global family fund, keeping things afloat.
Right. Keeping things afloat often translates to a secure existence for an expat, which of course isn't cheap. Housing costs can be surprisingly high for safe compounds, and you're essentially paying for peace of mind. Forget ordering a pizza, you're more likely to be negotiating the price of armed guards. I mean, I love an adventure, but I prefer my pizza delivered with minimal paramilitary escort.
Well, speaking of peace of mind, or at least a different kind of financial landscape, what about Trinidad and Tobago? Ooh, now there's a place where the economy smells like oil and spices. Wow. It's vibrant, colorful, and has a much more established feel, especially with those energy resources pumping away.
The donkey cart is probably more reliable on some days, Mira. Trinidad and travel and gas wealth, but it also means the economy can feel like a ride on a volatile commodity roller coaster. Oh, you get those shiny malls, but then a drop in global oil prices gives everyone the jitters. It's like everyone holding their breath when the news comes on. I'm certain our listeners living in Port of Spain would agree with me.
So, for our listeners thinking of moving, or even just visiting, the cost of living would be quite different. In Somalia, basic goods might be incredibly cheap if you're living like a local, but for an expat seeking certain comforts or security, it can add up fast. Especially if you need imported items or specific services.
Exactly. You're looking at a cost of living that's probably higher than you'd expect for the Caribbean, especially for imported goods and decent housing. You want that fresh avocado? Great, but it's probably flown in on a private jet before landing on your plate. It's the price you pay for island paradise, I suppose.
True, but for those seeking job opportunities, TT definitely has a more structured market, especially in the energy sector, finance, and tourism. In Somalia, it's more about international organizations, NGOs, or entrepreneurial ventures that might require a very specific set of skills and a high tolerance for uncertainty. Whoa.
A different kind of hustle is an understatement. A different kind of hustle is an understatement. For most expats, the job hunt in Somalia would be highly specialized, and you'd better have an ironclad reason for being there or a contract already signed, sealed, and delivered by a well-funded NGO. Otherwise, you're trying to sell ice to an Eskimo in a desert. Otherwise, you're trying to sell ice to an at a proper job interview. The local content policies mean they often prioritize their own.
It's all about weighing those factors, isn't it? Your personal comfort level, what you're looking for financially, and the kind of lifestyle you desire. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. If you've lived in either country, please share your insights on the cost of living in the comments below on YouTube.
Yes, please share your tips on YouTube. And remember, for more in-depth economic profiles and travel tips, you can always visit Jetoff AI. It's like having a digital tour guide for your wallet. Because navigating the economic waters of Somalia, with its unique challenges in informal markets versus the more structured but still commodity-dependent economy of Trinidad and Tobago, requires a good map. Otherwise, you'll end up paying too much for that metaphorical armored pizza.
Definitely not. And speaking of maps, remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more adventures. Oh, it's like giving us a little high five for all the economic deep dives we do. Alright, so we're diving into accommodation options and quality today. And believe me, when you look at Somalia versus Trinidad and Tobago, it's like comparing a carefully packed suitcase to a forgotten backpack found at the bottom of the ocean. You're going to find luxury in very different definitions, I'm pretty sure. So should we expect a 5-star resort in Somalia? Or are we bringing our own inflatable bed? Ooh.
An inflatable bed. Mira, I think you're optimistic if you're even expecting a floor to put it on in some places. When you talk about accommodation in Somalia, you're not exactly picturing poolside cabanas, are you? It's more about roof over your head and is it standing today? Vibes in many areas. I once stayed in a guest house where the shower ran on optimism and a bucket.
Oops. Oh, come on. Leo, you always exaggerate. I'm certain our listeners living in the more developed parts of Mogadishu or Hargeisa would say, "Bo, maybe not spa-level luxury, but functional safe. And often with a real sense of community. Plus, who needs a fancy shower when the ocean is right there?" Although, speaking of a proper shower, Trinidad and Tobago, that
Conventional comfort, you say? Oh, I'm imagining Mira's dream home every wall, painted a different, blindingly bright color, probably a pineapple lamp in every corner. But yes, Trinidad and Tobago, with its vibrant culture, also offers equally vibrant housing. From charming guest houses to modern apartments in Port of Spain, or those fantastic beachfront villas in Tobago, the range is certainly broader. My only observation is, if you ask for a plumber on island time, you might just get a very relaxed gecko.
you know me too well, Leo. And who needs a plumber when a gecko is perfectly capable of offering moral support, right? Wow. But seriously, when we talk about housing standards in Trinidad and Tobago, particularly for expats or those looking for a long-term stay, you're often looking at fully furnished options, amenities like air conditioning, a definite plus, and more structured rental agreements. It's a far cry from the more organic, sometimes find a friend of 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 a friend approach you might encounter, Malia.
Yeah, organic is one way to put it. Oh, another is a delightful surprise if the roof stays on. Another is a delightful surprise if the roof stays on. And Somalia, unless you're in a heavily secured compound for aid workers or diplomats, finding consistent quality or modern infrastructure can be a real adventure. It's less about choosing between a sea view or a city view, and more about choosing between running water today or running water tomorrow, maybe. It really forces you to adapt, doesn't it? As for TT, I'm curious if our listener.
Oh, it can be, especially during Carnival season. Prices for those charming, colorful homes in Trinidad and Tobago can skyrocket. Ooh, but outside of peak times, there's a good selection. You'll find a range from practical, solid homes that might need a touch of your own personality, maybe a bit of bright paint, Leo, just for you, to more luxurious gated communities. It's about finding what fits your budget and whether you want to be right in the heart of the action or a bit more secluded. And the quality is generally quite good. With modern utilities, though quite good.
Power outages, Mira. I'm sure you just start a spontaneous dance party in the dark. My point is, while Trinidad and Tobago offers a reassuringly familiar housing market with diverse options and good standards, Somalia's reality is, by necessity, more resilient and community-focused. Expats often look for secure, which are a world away from the local housing market.
That's a great point, Leo. Wow, you're right. It's not always about comparing apples to apples. In Somalia, sometimes the best accommodation option isn't just about the building, but the network of support, the people around you, and a sense of shared community. It's less about fancy amenities and more about reliability in a different sense. And in TT, it's about finding that balance between a lively, vibrant neighborhood and a quiet, secure haven to come home to after a day is soaking up the sun.
Exactly. Oh, so, whether you're seeking a structured, amenity-rich home in Trinidad and Tobago or a more basic, community-integrated living situation in Somalia, it really boils down to priorities. My advice, don't just show up with your inflatable bed to your homework. Because a good place to stay can mean wildly different things in these two incredibly unique countries.
Oh, bureaucracy. It's like trying to find a matching sock in a mountain of laundry. You know it's there somewhere. But the journey is just where. Let's just say it's an adventure. And when you add travel visas into that mix, it can feel like you're trying to decode an ancient scroll.
An ancient scroll, more like a treasure map where X marks the spot where your patience finally runs out. Mira, you're always trying to find the sunny side of paperwork. Me? I just see a stack of paper designed to make you question your life choices. Speaking of choices, let's talk about the unique journey of getting into Somalia.
Wow, that's quite the start, Leo. I was thinking more tropical paradise for our first stop on the visa tour. But yes, for Somalia, it's definitely not a pop in and say hi kind of situation for most of us, is it? You usually need a visa, and it's best to get it from an embassy or consulate before you even think about packing your bags.
Exactly. You don't just wing it with Somalia. It's not like forgetting your toothbrush, it's more like forgetting your entire travel itinerary, your passport, and your will to live all at once. Ouch. Most nationalities require a visa, and sometimes you might get a visa on arrival at Mogadishu airport. But that's often with a pre-arranged invitation or for specific purposes. My advice? Don't leave it to chance, unless you enjoy the thrill of being asked 1,000 questions by stern-looking officials.
Oh, I'm certain our listeners who've navigated that process would agree. It's a testament to their patience. I imagine the paperwork itself is a marathon, not a sprint. You're looking at things like invitation letters, sponsorship details, and a clear reason for your visit. It's like they want you to prove you're not just there to start a surprise dance party. And getting those documents notarized and verified, that's another adventure in itself.
A surprise dance party in Mogadishu. Now that's a mental image. Oh, but seriously, the bureaucracy can be quite robust. It's not known for its speedy turnaround times. You really need to be prepared for potential delays and follow every step meticulously. It's almost like a test of character. Are you truly committed to visiting our beautiful country, or will you falter at form number 7?
Well, since we've explored the, let's call it, strategically challenging waters of Somali immigration, what about a country where the visa process feels more like a gentle Caribbean breeze? Oh, let's talk about Trinidad and Tobago. I picture sunshine and smiles, not stacks of intimidating forms.
Trinidad and Tobago. Now we're talking about a completely different beast, Mira. Or, more accurately, a less beastly one. For many nationalities, like folks from the U.S., Canada, the U.K., or the EU, it's often visa-free for short tourist stays. You just need a valid passport, proof of onward travel, and sometimes sufficient funds. It's almost disappointingly straightforward for my taste.
Exactly. No need for a secret handshake or a treasure map to get in. Come on over. We've got beaches and Carnival. Just bring yourself. The process is generally very streamlined, and if you do need a visa, the standard application is quite manageable. You fill out the form, submit your documents, and usually, it's a relatively quick turnaround. No ancient scrolls required. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this, which sounds more appealing for the initial entry.
I guess some people prefer a smooth entry. I, for one, appreciate a little obstacle. It makes the destination feel earned. But yes, Trinidad and Tobago aims for efficiency. You might need proof of accommodation, which makes sense. They don't want you sleeping on the beach and then complaining about sand in your teeth. Their system aligns with typical international travel standards. So, if you're looking to avoid paperwork aerobics, TT is definitely the winner here. You can even find details on Jet Alfei. About their specific wear.
Paperwork aerobics is now my new favorite phrase. I'm certain that our listeners thinking of moving or even just visiting these places would find such practical details invaluable. It's a stark contrast, isn't it? One requires meticulous planning and a strong sense of adventure just to get through the door, and the other says, "Welcome, pull up a chair." It's almost like an immigration system speed dating event. Ooh.
Indeed. One's a deep dive into existential bureaucracy, and the other is a gentle splash in clear waters. If you think this is wrong, please let us know in the comments. We're always keen to hear personal experiences. I mean, my observations are generally razor sharp, but I'm willing to be gently corrected.
Oh, right, so our next stop on this global checkup is access to and quality of health services. When you think about well-being, having good healthcare is like having a superhero sidekick, right? Wow, it's one of those things you hope you never need, but are so grateful it's there. And today, we're zooming in on Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Let's start with Somalia, a country that has, let's just say, faced its share of challenges.
Challenges is one way to put it, Mira. I suppose if you're looking for access, you're really accessing a lot of resilience there because formal health services have had a rather rough road, shall we say. Imagine your doctor's office also doubles as a goat stable. Kidding mostly, but seriously, decades of conflict have truly decimated the infrastructure. It's less about a public system and more about a collection of desperate measures and the valiant efforts of NGOs.
Oh, whoops. See, that's where the human spirit really shines, Leo. Even with those difficult circumstances, communities find ways to care for each other. You hear incredible stories of local ingenuity and how international aid, though stretched thin, tries to fill those gaps. It's like everyone becomes a part-time nurse or pharmacist out of necessity. I'm actually curious about what our listeners, especially those who've experienced similar situations, think. If you have stories about healthcare resilience, aliens.
Mira, you'd find a way to make a broken bone sound like a character-building experience. While community spirit is commendable, it's not quite the same as a well-funded, fully staffed hospital, is it? Let's be real. It's often a patchwork. And speaking of things that are a little more patched together than fully functioning, let's shift gears to Trinidad and Tobago. Here, you've got a system that sounds good on paper, of free public healthcare, but then you get their end, and well.
Oh, you're such a cynic, Clear. Trinidad and Tobago sounds vibrant and colorful, and their healthcare has a much stronger foundation. Well, yes, public hospitals might have their queues, but imagine getting world-class care for free if you're a citizen. That's a huge win. Oh, and for us adventurous travelers or expats, there's always the private option, which I hear is quite robust. You get the best of both worlds, really.
Best of both worlds if your wallet also has a best of both worlds situation going on, Mira. The reality for many expats, and I'm certain that our listeners living in Trinidad and Tobago would agree with me, is that they head straight for the private sector. You pay for peace of mind, quicker appointments, and perhaps a doctor who doesn't look like they just finished a 48-hour shift. Well, public health care can be excellent for emergencies, but for anything routine, you'll be clocking some serious waiting room hours.
That's a fair point about the speedy bullet train versus the scenic tour, but at least there's a bus. For anyone looking to relocate, knowing there are solid private clinics and internationally trained staff in Trinidad and Tobago is incredibly reassuring. Having a public system entirely, but having a plan A and a plan A and a plan A and a plan B for your well-being, which is pretty smart in any country, don't you think? Oh, and for more detailed insights, you can always check out Jotofeo for deeper dives into expat living resources.
Options are good, especially when one of them involves not spending your entire Tuesday afternoon contemplating the existential dread of a waiting room. So, for our expats listeners in Somalia, your healthcare plan often involves international organizations or a flight. While in Trinidad and Tobago, you're likely opting for a private clinic with your trusty travel insurance in hand. Both countries highlight that healthcare isn't just about medicine, it's also about infrastructure, economics.
Exactly. So, whether you're navigating the incredible resilience of Somalia's informal networks or enjoying the dual-track system of Trinidad and Tobago, staying informed is always your best prescription. And please, if you have any tips or experiences about healthcare in these unique places, share them on our YouTube channel. We love hearing from you. Oh, so speaking of getting places, let's zoom into transportation infrastructure. First up, Somalia. You know, when I think of transport there, I imagine a certain resilience and ingenuity, wouldn't you say?
Resilience is one way to put it, Mira. I call it testing the limits of human endurance. Ouch. Having a solid road system is a luxury in many places there. You're basically getting a mobile stand-up show with every ride in a tuk-tuk or Baja AJ, as they call them in Mogadishu.
Exactly. So you get it. You're getting somewhere, and you're getting entertained. What more could you ask for? Ooh, it's not just about getting from A to B, it's about the journey. And the drivers, they're often the best local guides, aren't they?
True, they're improvisation experts. Like me, but with wheels. But with wheels. You jump in, state your destination, and hope for the best. No complex apps, no surge pricing, just pure, unadulterated, let's see if we get their travel. And the roads outside the cities? Let's just say a map from 1950 might still be accurate because paved roads are a rare luxury.
Well, what I lack in paved roads, they make up for in resourcefulness. The public transport, often these little minibuses called dalad, they're like mobile communities. Everyone's in it together. Well, I bet our listeners who've experienced similar transport in other developing countries can relate to that vibrant chaos. What do you all think? Tell us below.
Vibrant chaos is a nice way to phrase getting intimately familiar with your fellow passengers. And let's not forget the crucial role of ports like Mogadishu and Bosaso. They're not just for cargo, they're the arteries keeping things moving, even with all the historical challenges. It's a testament to human resilience, or maybe just a stubborn refusal to stay put.
Stubborn refusal. I'm going to use that. It's truly inspiring how people adapt. And when it comes to international travel, airports like Aden Adi International are absolute lifelines. They bridge Somalia to the rest of the world, making connections possible despite everything. Well, it's a symbol of hope, really.
Hope in a very long security line, probably. But shifting gears, or perhaps shifting ferries, let's talk about Trinidad and Tobago. From what I've observed, they've got a slightly different set of transport woes, mostly involving a lot of honking.
Speaking of woes, their traffic can be a beast, especially around Port of Spain. It's like everyone decided to go to the same time and got stuck on the way. But their maxi taxis, those colorful minibuses, are iconic. They're not just transport, they're an experience, often with loud music and spirited drivers.
Loud music is fine, but if I'm stuck in traffic, I'd prefer a good podcast, perhaps ours, found on Jet Off AI over someone's questionable playlist. The roads are generally better, sure, but that congestion must be a daily comedy of errors. I can already picture the stand-up routine. Have you ever seen a maxi taxi driver try to merge during rush hour?
Hey, at least you're not bored. And the ferry service between Trinidad and Tobago is a lifesaver for island hopping. It's efficient, scenic, and avoids all that road rage. It's like a mini cruise, but with a purpose. I bet it's quite relaxing compared to a bumpy road. Ooh.
Relaxing? You're talking to a man who once got seasick on a paddle boat. But, for most sane people, yes, I suppose it's a pleasant alternative. And the airports, Pyarco and Trinidad and N.R. Robinson and Tobago are crucial for their tourism. Without those, you wouldn't get all those visitors coming to soak up the sun and dance to the steel pen.
Exactly. They've got the infrastructure for convenience, even if the urban areas face gridlock. It's a different kind of challenge than Somalia's, but just as integral to daily life and the economy. Wow, it's amazing how two places can be so different in their transport journeys, isn't it? From resilience and informal networks to developed roads grappling with congestion. It really makes you appreciate, or perhaps critique, the various ways people get around.
Critique is my middle name. And if you want to critique more, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss our deep dives into these fascinating comparisons. Otherwise, you might find yourself stuck in a transport infrastructure black hole of ignorance. Oops.
Oh, alright, so if we're still talking about navigating the world, let's dive into something that can really make or break a trip language barrier and ease of communication. You know, sometimes you feel like you need a translator just to order a coffee. And our first country on the linguistic chopping block is Somalia.
Somalia, huh? My first thought is, okay, Leo, don't just rely on pointing and smiling. From what I've seen, Somali and Arabic are the big players there. So, if your Arabic is as rusty as my old bicycle, you might need a phrasebook, or at least a very good memming strategy. And I'm certain our listeners living in Somalia would agree with me. A little preparation goes a long way.
Absolutely. Somali is the official language, and Arabic is also widely spoken, especially for religious purposes and trade. But get this, in the bigger cities, you'll find a surprising number of people who speak English, particularly in business or NGO sectors. Ooh. It's like finding a secret language cheat code in a video game. Though, I once tried to order camel milk using gestures in a rural area, and I think they thought I was trying to ride a camel in the cafe.
I can just picture you trying to lasso a barista. Wow, that's a classic travel mishap. But speaking of diverse linguistic landscapes, that brings us neatly to our other contender, Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa, talk about a melting pot. Here, English is the official language, which sounds easy enough, right? But wait. There's a twist.
Oh, a twist. I love a good plot twist. You see, while English is official, the real heart of communication is in Trinidadian and Tobagoan Creole English. It's like regular English went on vacation, had a few too many rum punches, and came back with a whole new rhythm and vocabulary. It's vibrant, it's expressive, and it can be a delightful challenge for anyone used to more traditional English. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Do you find Creole challenging or charming?
Charming, definitely charming. But also a bit like listening to a really fast jazz solo. You get the general vibe, but the individual notes fly by. I remember trying to follow a conversation about a cricket match once, and by the time I figured out what they were talking about, the game was over, and they were already on to the next round of doubles. Wow. It's a proper linguistic workout.
It really is. And it reflects the incredible cultural blend of Trinidad and Tobago with influences from Africa, India, Europe. You hear it all woven into the Creole. Oh, you might even catch a bit of Joe Pieri or Spanish here and there. It's like the country itself is singing in multiple harmonies. For expats, even though English is the lingua franca, picking up a few Creole phrases is like unlocking a special level of local connection.
Unlocking a special level. I like that, Mir. Aha! In Somalia, while dialects can vary regionally, Somali is the glue, and Arabic helps with the sacred and commercial. In TT, you've got official English doing the paperwork, but Creole is running the party. It's like formal wear versus carnival costume. Both serve a purpose, but one is definitely more fun.
You know, it's not just about the words either. It's the whole communication style. In Somalia, sometimes things are more indirect, and respect for elders shines through in how conversations flow. In TT, on the other hand, it's often more direct, expressive, and full of storytelling. Oh, it's a joy to watch.
And for anyone planning a visit or a move, understanding those nuances is key. It's not just about translating words, but translating intentions, moods. If you think this is wrong, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences.
Absolutely. Whether it's the rich tapestry of Somali and Arabic in Somalia, or the rhythmic flow of Creole in Trinidad and Tobago, language is a window into culture. Wow! So next time you're somewhere new, lean into the linguistic adventure. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, so you don't miss our next adventure.
Yes, and for deeper dives into travel prep, remember to check out Jet Off AI. They've got resources that might just save you from accidentally ordering a camel ride instead of camel milk. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, so today's topic, cultural diversity and tolerance, really gets my inner dance machine going. I think about it, some countries just sing a symphony of cultures, and Trinidad and Tobago is absolutely one of them. Wow. It's like a perfectly blended smoothie of peoples, African, Indian, Chinese, European, you name it. Everyone seems to have brought their own special ingredient to the pot.
I perfectly blended smoothie, Mira. Mira. More like a chaotic, delicious to where you're never quite sure what spice you. Oh, but you're right, Trinidad and Tobago is definitely a masterclass in visible diversity. I've always found it fascinating how Diwali, Eid, and Christmas can all be national holidays. Whoa. It makes you wonder how many days off I could get if I moved there. I'm actually curious about what our listeners, perhaps those who've experienced Trini Carnival.
You're always thinking about the days off, Leo. But seriously, imagine a place where the rhythm of calypso and soca mixes with the soulful sounds of chutney music. It's not just a blend, it's a living, breathing fusion. Wow. I heard a story once about a wedding there where the music shifted from an African drum beat to a Bollywood hit-and-then to steel pin, all within an hour. That's not just tolerance, that's celebrating the entire playlist of humanity.
Sounds like my personal Spotify playlist when it's on shuffle and I'm feeling particularly indecisive. Now, while Trinidad and Tobago boasts a vibrant, visible mix, Somalia presents a different kind of cultural fabric. It's largely homogeneous, primarily Sunni Muslim. On the surface, you might think not much diversity to talk about there. But that would be, as I like to say, a rookie mistake in global people watching.
But Because diversity isn't just about different ethnicities, it's also about how people within a seemingly uniform culture navigate their differences. In Somalia, for instance, the deep-rooted clan structures and regional identities create a complex tapestry. Wow. It's about respecting those subtle variations in tradition, dialect, or even preferred camel herding techniques. It requires a different kind of understanding and, dare I say, tolerance.
You said camel herding techniques, Mira? Whoa, I'm suddenly picturing a debate over whether it's more tolerant to herd left or right. But truly, within Somalia's homogeneity, you do find layers. Unfortunately, have often come from these internal divisions, his social cohesions, historically cohesions. Historically, Singh and Somalia would agree with me about the complexities. Ouch. It's less about celebrating in Somalia would agree with me about the complexities. I'm certain that our listeners living in Somalia would agree one looks alike. But you still need a detail where everyone looks alike.
Oh, Leo. The family reunion analogy is perfect. Oh. It's a reminder that tolerance isn't always grand gestures, sometimes it's simply navigating those everyday, ingrained differences with respect. In a country like Somalia, that respect for clan elders fought traditional ways of resolving disputes, even for the nuances of their rich oral poetry, is a foundational form of tolerance. It's about preserving identity while still coexisting. And for anyone looking to understand these intricate cultural dynamics before a visit.
Right? Because nobody wants to accidentally insult a traditional camel herding technique. Oops! You might end up on a YouTube compilation of tourist fails. But seriously, whether it's the beautiful outward mosaic of Trinidad and Tobago or the nuanced internal fabric of Somalia, both countries teach us about the many faces of cultural diversity and tolerance. It's never as simple as a city. It's never as simple as us versus them. It's never a specific way they do things, which might just be us with a slightly different ass with a slightly different things.
Alright, so from the vibrant cultural scenes we just talked about, let's swing our attention to something equally vital, especially for the future educational opportunities and language schools. When we think about a country's backbone, its learning environment plays a huge role. I'm imagining a student in Somalia, perhaps in a classroom that's been recently rebuilt, diligently learning, fueled by pure determination. Wow, it's truly inspiring to see how resilient challenging circumstances.
Pure determination, Mira, or maybe just the sheer lack of Wi-Fi keeping them focused. I'm just kidding mostly, but seriously, when you look at Somalia, the educational landscape is certainly a story of rebuilding. After years of civil unrest, many schools are literally rising from the rubble. Literacy rates have historically been quite low, and access to quality education, especially in rural areas, remains a significant hurdle. It's like trying to build a 5-star hotel with a single-star hotel.
Well, every great building starts with a single brick, right? And even with those challenges, there's incredible progress happening, particularly with private schools and universities emerging. You see innovation happening on the ground, teachers finding creative ways to engage students. It's a testament to the human spirit. And speaking of innovation, let's pivot to Trinidad and Tobago, where the vibe is quite different.
Vibrant, sunny classrooms, probably full of students dreaming of becoming professional steel players. In Trinidad and Tobago, English is the official language, which certainly simplifies things for many. You've also got the University of the West Indies, which is a major regional player. But I'm curious, Mira, are these schools teaching you how to perfectly pronounce doubles or just standard English? Because one of those is clearly more vital for cultural immersion.
Oh, Leo, you're always thinking with your stomach. Well, I'm sure their local cuisine factors into the curriculum somehow. They offer a wide range of academic programs, from arts and sciences to vocational training. English is the primary medium. but you'll also hear French Creole, Hindi, and even Spanish. It's a true linguistic mosaic, which makes for fantastic language learning opportunities outside of formal schools too.
A street food education, I like it. Sounds like less homework, more flavor. But seriously, the contrast between the two is striking. In Somalia, learning English or Arabic is often a gateway to broader opportunities in international aid programs, a more pragmatic approach. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's about refining existing skills and perhaps diving into those rich regional dialects. It's less about building the foundation and more about decorating the top of the cake.
Exactly. So, whether you're looking at a country like Somalia, where every classroom represents a step forward in rebuilding, or Trinidad and Tobago with its robust and diverse educational offerings, both present unique learning journeys. It really highlights how education adapts to its environment. If you're pondering a move and thinking about language acquisition, I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Do you prioritize a well-established system or a resilient, emerging one? You can drop your thoughts in the comments section on YouTube.
Or perhaps you just want to know if there's a language school teaching the art of the perfect afternoon nap in either country. Because that's a skill I'd invest in. But on a serious note, the efforts in Somalia to bring education to more people, often with international support, are commendable. And Trinidad's established institutions and vibrant cultural backdrop for language learning offer different, but equally valid paths. If you want to know which, check out more different, but equally valid paths. If you want to know more about the specifics, like which specific universities are leading the charge.
Alright, so from arguing about who left the coffee cup in the sink, Leo, that was definitely you. Let's look at climate and seasonal conditions in Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Talk about a jump in geography, right? Somalia, you think? Well, prepare for hotter and then some more hot. Well, it's like the Earth decided to turn up its own thermostat and walk away.
Hot is an understatement, Mira. It's like the sun decided to personally visit and never leave. I imagine people there spend most of their time wishing for a cloud. Any cloud. Just a single, fluffy, shade-giving wonder. I'm certain our listeners in cooler climates can't even fathom it, unless they've left their oven door open all day. And Somalia's climate. It's mostly arid to semi-arid. They've got two main rainy seasons, if you can call them rainy, and two dry ones. But those dry seasons are...
Ooh, a cloud's a good dream. But imagine switching from that dry, almost desert-like heat to a place where the air itself feels like a warm, lush hug. That's our next stop, Trinidad and Tobago. Wow. You go from praying for a drop of rain to enjoying the kind of humidity that makes your hair feel like it has a life of its own. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about that humidity. Is it a friend or a foe?
I warm hug, Mira. More like a warm, inescapable, slightly damp embrace. Haha. Sounds like my last attempt at a summer romance. Oops, Trinidad and Tobago. Now that's a tropical climate. Hot and humid all year round, with a distinct dry season from January to May, and then the rainy season from June to December. I bet the phrase bad hair day doesn't even exist there. It's just day.
Speaking of those intense dry periods in Somalia, it's not just about being uncomfortable, it's about survival. Droughts are a huge deal there, Mira. They can last for ages, making life incredibly challenging, especially for the nomadic communities. It's a testament to human resilience, really. But I bet they still find ways to tell stories, maybe even some dry jokes about the dry weather.
Oh, I'm sure their humor is as parched as the landscape. And for Trinidad and Tobago, while they don't face droughts of that scale, they have their own climatic challenges. Being in the hurricane belt. Well, technically just south of the main one, which is a lucky break means they still get their share of tropical storms and heavy rainfall. I once heard a Trini joke that their rainy season is just the sky crying happy tears because it loves the island so much.
Happy tears, I love that. For those living in Somalia, Adapting to the climate means a lifestyle that's constantly moving with the seasons, seeking pasture and water. It's a deep connection to the land and ancient rhythm. Oh, they've perfected the art of living light, I imagine, and finding joy in the simple things, like a sudden downpour. Well, it reminds me of how my own plans for the day can shift with a sudden coffee craving.
A sudden coffee craving is not quite the same as a life-sustaining quest for water, Mira. But I get your point. In Trinidad and Tobago, the tropical climate shapes a different kind of life. It's all about outdoor activities, vibrant festivals, and maybe a permanent state of relaxed readiness for a sudden downpour. The famous Carnival, for example, is perfectly timed for the dry season. Can you imagine trying to fade in a torrential downpour?
You know, it's fascinating how much climate dictates our daily rhythms and even our celebrations. From Somalia's deep connection to the land, shaped by every drop of rain, to Trinidad and Tobago's lively outdoor culture. Oh, it truly shows how people adapt and find joy, no matter what the sky throws at them. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments if your climate has ever completely derailed your best laid plans.
Derailed, Mira. My life is a constantly derailed train thanks to climate and my own planning skills. Oops. But yes, whether it's the harsh, dry realities in Somalia or the lush, humid vibrancy of Trinidad and Tobago, climate isn't just a weather report, it's weather report. It's woven into the very fabric of life, culture, and even what you eat. And speaking of getting derailed, we'll dive into another topic right after a quick word from Jetafe, our wonderful partners who keep us on track. Unlike my suitcase.
Oh, all right, Leo. You know, sometimes I look at editions think, is this a work of art or just really, really hungry? Today, we're diving into the delicious and sometimes bewildering world of food, culture, and nutritional alternatives, comparing Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. I'm already picturing a food fight of flavors. Whoa.
Mira, I swear your brain must have a tiny chef with a rainbow apron, always whipping up visual feasts. Is this a work of art? No, it's probably just food that's seen too many of your dance moves. Oops. But seriously, Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago, that's a pairing I didn't see coming. One brings the East African spices, the other a melting pot of Caribbean vibes. It's like comparing a calm jazz club to a full-blown carnival. Carnival.
That's a great way to put it. Speaking of jazz clubs, let's swing over to Somalia first. Their cuisine is often built around staples like rice, pasta, and injera, which is a flatbread, for those who haven't tried it. Aha! Dishes often feature rich spices like cumin, cardamom, and turmeric. One of my favorite finds is bari as SKU carries, a spiced rice dish with meat. Often in big fam with a lot of love, and in big family portions.
Right. Big family portions, or as I like to call it, enough to feed a small stand-up audience after a late-night show. And the spices, you mentioned cardamom, that's something that always catches my observational radar. It's often subtle, but when it hits right, it's like a tiny flavor grenade. Boom! It feels like Somali cuisine, from what I've gathered, focuses on robust, straightforward flavors that really stick with you. No pretensions, just get honest food.
Exactly. No fuss. Just flavor. Now, if Somalia is a hearty embrace, Trinidad and Tobago is a vibrant dance party for your taste buds. Wow. Their food is a reflection of their history, African, Indian, Chinese, European, indigenous influences all simmering together. You've got curries, stews, rotas, kalalo, which is a leafy green dish that's absolutely divine. Oh, and don't even get me started on doubles. It's a street food with curry, chickpeas, and various chutneys.
Doubles, huh? Sounds like something I'd trip over myself trying to get seconds of. Oops. I can just picture the chaos of trying to eat that gracefully. Your dance party for your taste buds metaphor is pretty spot on, though. It's that cultural mosaic, isn't it? Every bite tells a story. Every bite tells a story. While Somalia leans into those aromatic spices, TT seems to be about the dynamic interplay of flavors, sweet, savory, spicy, all at once. It almost feels like they're competing to see how many different cultures they can cram onto one plate.
Oh, you absolutely would. Now, thinking about nutritional alternatives, both countries have interesting approaches. In Somalia, while meat and dry are central, there's also a reliance on fresh fruits like mangoes, guavas, and bananas. And being a coastal country, fresh fish is a crucial protein source. So, if you're looking for lighter fare, those options are readily available. It's about utilizing what's local and seasonal. What do you think about the shift towards more plant-based eating in these traditional meat-heavy cultures?
That's a good point about seasonal partners. And fish, of course. My stomach just made a realization. Aha. For travelers, especially those who might be vegetarian or vegan, it often means navigating the local market for fresh ingredients and perhaps explaining, no meat, no dairy with interpretive dance. No dairy with interpretive dance. In TT, with its strong Indian influence, you'll find a lot of vegetarian options. Particularly delicious curried vegetables and legumes that are incredibly flavorful.
I agree, the Indian influence in TT really opens up those alternatives. And let's not forget the incredible array of fresh produce. Roadside vendors are everywhere selling everything from starfruit to passion fruit. It's fantastic for nutritional diversity. For our listeners who are planning a trip, remember to check out Jed.ai for tips on local markets and restaurants that cater to specific dietary needs in both these amazing countries. It's like having a culinary co-pilot.
A culinary co-pilot. I like that. Or a digestive systems guardian angel, especially after some of my questionable street food adventures. Ouch. But for real, whether you're navigating the aromatic simplicity of Somali stews or the vibrant, spicy complexity of Trinidadian curries, both countries offer a unique gastronomic journey. And for our YouTube audience, tell us in the comments which country's food scene sounds more like your kind of adventure. And remember to hit that like button if you're enjoying our tasty comparisons.
Right, Leah. If we're moving on from talking about whether it's okay to wear socks with sandals, a topic of true historical debate, I might add, then let's dive into some truly vibrant cultural tapestry. Today, we are uncovering the historical, cultural, and artistic values of Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Get ready, because these places have stories that could fill entire libraries. Wow.
Mira, socks with sandals is a timeless fashion cry, not history. Some things are just universally wrong. But you're right. We're not here to judge my wardrobe choices for once. Somalia, with its roots stretching back to antiquity, sometimes feels like history whispered by the wind. It was a crucial part of the ancient world's trade networks, frankincense, myrrh. They literally smelled like success back then.
Wow. Frankincense and myrrh, I bet their ancient markets had better aromatherapy than most modern spas. And speaking of ancient whispers, Somalia's oral traditions are just incredible. Their poetry, the gabes, are epic stories passed down generations. Imagine trying to keep track of all that without a single written note. Oops, I forget my own name halfway through. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. What kind of oral traditions they grew up with.
Mira, I'm sure your gabes would involve a rogue coffee machine and a misplaced sock, but I digress. On the other side of the world, Trinidad and Tobago is a completely different kind of historical mosaic. It's like the world's best potluck, where everyone brought their most flavorful traditions. Wow. You've got influences from indigenous Caribs and Arawakas, then Spanish, British, Afrikaan Indian, Chinean. Chinese a true fusion. They probably invented multiculturalism before it was even a word.
Oh, absolutely. And you can really feel that fusion, especially in their artistic expressions. I mean, Trinidad's Carnival, is there anything more vibrant? It's not just a party, it's an explosion of history, art, and the steel pen, invented right there. Imagine taking old oil drums and turning them into instruments that sing. That's pure genius. Ah, if you've ever seen a steel pan orchestra live, you know what I mean. I'm certain that our listeners who've experienced it would agree with me.
Mira, you'd probably try to turn my old coffee maker into a tiny drum if you got your hands on it. Carnival is definitely a spectacle. I watched some videos once, and my couch started doing the salsa just from the energy. I'm usually more of a sit and observe kind of guy, but even I felt the urge to, well, maybe tap my foot.
Ah, see, Leo, even your feet have a secret dance passion. But it's true, these places offer such distinct artistic vibes. In Somalia, while maybe not the huge festivals, you have these incredibly intricate crafts, the weaving, the pottery, the carvings. It's subtle, but each piece tells a story of generations. It's like comparing a whispered secret to a shouted celebration, both beautiful in their own right.
That's a poetic way to put it, Mira. And speaking of things that tell stories, the architecture. Somalia has these ancient ruins, old mosques, and some colonial buildings that are like ghosts of the past. It's all very stoic, weathered. Trinidad and Tobago, though, has this delightful mixed Spanish colonial structures, British influences, vibrant colors everywhere. It's almost as if the buildings themselves are dancing in bright costumes. Wow. Some of these historical sites make me think that if walls could talk, they'd probably stop.
Oh, I definitely listened to the gossip from a centuries-old mosque. Oops. But seriously, what truly stands out in both places is the resilience of their cultural heritage. Despite everything, political shifts, external influences, their core identities remain vibrant and unique. It's about how they honor their past, whether through epic poems or explosive music. Well, it's like their cultures are constantly saying we're still here, and we're spectacular. Ugh.
Absolutely. It's a testament to human spirit, isn't it? Though I sometimes think honoring the past for me just means finding my old high school yearbooks and wondering who let me dress like that. But for these nations, it's so much more profound. For all our listeners watching on YouTube, if you have a favorite historical landmark or cultural tradition from either Somalia or Trinidad and Tobago, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it.
Yes, please do. Because every single story adds to the big, beautiful picture of our world. Both Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago offer such unique contributions to history and culture. It's truly inspiring. Wow! It reminds you that art and culture aren't just in museums, they're alive in the streets, in the people, in every rhythm.
And whether you're planning a trip to dance in a street festival or explore ancient ruins, Jeddah Faya is your go-to for diving into these authentic experiences. There's just so much magic waiting to be discovered. Wow!
Okay, first switching gears from all that deep stuff, who's ready for some eye candy? We're talking natural beauties and landscapes today, and oh boy, do we have a pair of countries that bring different vibes to the table. First up, Somalia. When you think of Somalia, your mind might go to sand and sun, but I've been doing some digging, and it's got the longest coastline in mainland Africa. Wow. Imagine thousands of kilometers of untouched beaches. Ooh. I'm picturing myself doing a dance routine on one of those pristine shores.
Mira, I'm already picturing your dance routine ending with you tripping over a rogue seashell. But you're right. When I think Somalia, pristine beaches isn't my first mental image. It's usually rugged or desert. and my coffee cup suddenly feels heavier just thinking about the heat. But a coastline that long, that's a lot of sand for me to accidentally track into a hotel room. Oops. I'm certain that our listeners who've explored those shores could give us some insider tips.
Always with the self-deprecating humor, Leo. But yes, while it's adventurous, it's also incredibly beautiful. Think turquoise waters, coral reefs that are practically whispering secrets, and then you have the Ogio Mountains in the north. Wow, it's this dramatic, summery landscape that looks like it belongs in a movie. You can go from rugged peaks to serene beaches. And those two rivers, the Jabe and Shabelle, what our listeners think. Have any of you explored the explorable mountain sport?
Breathtaking, sure, and probably requires quite a bit of water. My kind of mountain adventure usually involves a cable car and a good espresso at the summit. But the idea of those ancient, almost untouched coral reefs in Somalia, that's quite something. It makes you wonder what kind of marine life is thriving out there. It's like nature's kept a secret garden. But if you think that's completely off the beaten path, it's like nature's kept a secret garden. It certainly puts a different spin on what you expect from the region.
Whoa, asphalt is a natural wonder. Leo, are you telling me the road literally comes to you there? That sounds like a dream for anyone who hates traffic. But speaking of wonders, Trinidad and Tobago, those two islands, offer a completely different palette of greens and blues. You've got the lush rainforests, especially in Trinidad's northern range, bursting with biodiversity. And then Tobago has those postcard perfect white sandy beaches.
You'd definitely be performing for a very appreciative audience of exotic birds, Mira. It is home to the scarlet coney swamp in Trinidad, which is home to the scarlet ibis, their national birds. Vow it's... I mean my stand-uply be birds flying home at sunset. I mean my stand-up sets are birds. But I don't think it by stand-up sets are good. Birds is an upset Somali is vast, rugged, birds is an opening act. I don't think I goes cool other level. Everson Neville.
Scuba diving for introverts, I love it. But seriously, the contrast is fascinating, isn't it? Somalia's landscape feels ancient and untamed, almost waiting to be discovered, while Trinidad and Tobago bursts with life. Think about it, in Somalia, you have those dramatic desert meets ocean scenes, like something out of a classic adventure film. Oh, and then on the Twin Islands, you have the famous Spitchlet. Wow, I looked it up. It's the largest natural deposit of asphalt in the world. I just hope it does decided to pave its own roads.
Sticky, Mira. I'm picturing you trying to do a high kick and getting stuck like a fly on flypaper. Ouch. But you hit on a key plike it into place where the earth literally But the place where the earth literally oozes. That's pure the Atlantic, but you're the our gold. That's pure gold, Jelda. Don't you even spotting the not any absurdities. That's pure gold. That's pure gold. That's pure beautiful. But a fall, the waterfall. These are odd. These are waterfall on out cut. To waterfall on to big. Tony shield that in his spat out. Waterfall on a holler cutties. Dollar th to stuck out.
Mother Nature's podcast, I'd subscribe to that. But you're so right, Leo. Both countries offer distinct kinds of natural beauty. One is vast and dramatic, hinting at stories yet untold, while the other is a vibrant explosion of tropical life. Whether you're drawn to the endless, rugged coastlines of Somalia or the lush, biodiverse islands of Trinidad and Tobago, there's an adventure waiting. Give us a like and maybe consider hitting that subscribe. Well, since we were just talking about how much fun we have, let's dive into sports, activity and adventure options in Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. I'm already picturing myself trying some wild new sport. My internal firework just went off.
Mirror, knowing you, that firework is probably you attempting a triple backflip off a camel in Somalia. Oops. Speaking of fire, I'm just looking for a good, strong coffee to fuel any adventure. But seriously, when we think about these vibrant places, what springs to mind for you first, sports-wise?
For Somalia, football, or soccer as we call it, is incredibly popular. You'll see kids playing with anything they can kick, which reminds me of my own childhood, using a crumpled paper ball. It's a national passion, really. And then there's camel racing. Can you imagine the spectacle? Whoa! I'd love to try riding one, even if I end up doing an unplanned dismount.
Camel racing, you say? My idea of adventure is avoiding a sprained ankle just walking through a new city. Wow. As for football, it's a global language, isn't it? But then you swing over to Trinidad and Tobago, and suddenly everything slows down a bit, like watching cricket. It's their national sport, a real institution. They have fierce rivalries, vibrant team colors, and fans who treat every match like a sacred ritual. Oh, I once tried to understand it up napping in front of the TV.
You and your naps, Leo. But Trinidad and Tobago isn't also cricket, my friend. Their adventure options are fantastic. Imagine their stunning beaches for swimming, snorkeling, or just soaking up the sun. The Northern Range offers incredible hiking trails, perfect for bird watching. They have the national bird, the scarlet bears. Wow. And you can't talk about TT without mentioning Carnival. It's a whirlwind of music, dancing, and pure energy. My kind of sport is definitely dance still you drop at Carnival.
Dance still, you drop sounds less like a sport and more like a pre-sleep routine for you, Mirror. But I agree. Carnival is certainly an activity. Act to Somalia, their coastline with its pristine undeveloped beaches has incredible potential for water sports, like diving or fishing for the truly adventurous. Actually curious about what our listeners think about this, what unique adventure they've found in unexpected places. And even ancient ruins offer a unique kind of exploration for those seeking something truly offer a unique kind of exploration for those seeking something truly offer those.
Well, I'd say my adventure is getting you to drink something other than coffee. But you're right. The sheer natural beauty of Somalia's coast, with the Indian Ocean, is a powerful draw. You can imagine the potential for some incredible kitboarding or sailing, away from the usual crowds. Ooh, and those desert treks could be truly mind-expanding if you're prepared. It's a very different vibe from the energetic streets of Port of Spain.
Indeed. One is a subtle art of navigation, the other a full-throttle sprint. Whether you're chasing waves or attempting to understand the rules of cricket, both countries offer a spectrum of experiences. For those who want to deep dive into adventure planning for anywhere in the world, make sure to check out Jet AI for some expert tips. They have all the details you'd ever need, even for those truly unique spots.
Oh, for sure. You know, Sometimes the biggest adventure is just trying to find a quiet spot for a yoga session in the middle of a bustling market. Both places offer very different avenues for activity, from the traditional wrestling and football in Somalia to the rhythmic, passionate life of cricket and carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, if you enjoy this comparison, don't forget to like this video on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for more global adventures. Alright, Lear. Speaking of different ways of life, let's look at something else entirely, shall we? We're diving into nightlife and entertainment venues. And oh boy, do we have a contrast here. You've got Somalia on one side, and then Trinidad and Tobago on the other. It's like comparing a quiet library to a full-on street parade. Wow.
Oh, Mira, you're not wrong there. A quiet library or even a librarian has gone home for the night, maybe? I mean, for Somalia, when we talk about nightlife, we're talking about a very different beast. It's not about pounding clubs or neon lights, that's for sure. In places like Mogadishu, any evening activity is usually much more subdued. Think communal gatherings, perhaps some traditional storytelling or poetry readings. It's less about letting loose and more about shared cultural experiences, often among men and teens.
Right. It's really about the heartbeat of the community, isn't it? Aha! You're not going to find a DJ night listing for a club. It's more like a warm gathering where people share stories in traditional music, which is still a beautiful form of entertainment, just a different pace. I'm certain our listeners who are familiar with Somali culture would agree. Ooh. Sometimes, I imagine it's like a spontaneous, unplugged performance.
Indeed, Mira. And often these gatherings are deeply rooted in religious and social customs. Alcohol is largely prohibited, so that whole side of a typical Western nightlife is just not present. Safety also plays a significant role, limiting large public congregations, especially after sunset. It's a pragmatic reality, not just a cultural preference. You're more likely to hear the call to prayer than a booming bass line.
Why, that's a stark contrast to what we imagine when we think of nightlife. But wait, I want to add something there. You mentioned tea houses. I can totally picture you in a corner, notebook in hand, observing everyone's tea drinking habits for your next stand-up routine. He's reaching for the sugar.
So I've seen right through me, Mira. I'm always on the lookout for a good story, even if it's just about a sugar cube. But speaking of sugar, let's hop over to Trinidad and Tobago, where the nightlife scene is less about quiet contemplation and more about a full-on sugar rush of energy. Wow, it's an explosion of sound, color, and rhythm, largely centered around soca and calypso music.
Oh, yes. Trinidad and Tobago. Just the name makes me want to start dancing, Mira. This is where the party never stops, especially during Carnival. Whoa, it's not just a festival, it's a way of life. The feats, the steel pan music, the costumes, it's a whole sensory experience. It's like every street corner is its own stage. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think. Have you ever been to Trinidad Carnival? Tell us in the comments.
Carnival. A controlled chaos, if you will. People liming, just hanging out. Socializing is an art form that extends late into the night. You'll find everything from open-air concerts to sophisticated lounges and packed dance clubs, particularly in Port of Spain. It's a place where the music literally moves you, and the energy is infectious. And forget a quiet tea house here. It's more about rum punches and dancing until sunrise.
Rum punches and dancing until sunrise, now that's what I'm talking about. Oops, did I just reveal my preference? But seriously, the sheer variety of entertainment in Trinidad and Tobago, from live steel pan bands to reggae and soca artists, shows how diverse their cultural influences are. It's not just one type of music, it's a vibrant tapestry of sounds. Whoa.
Absolutely, Mira. It's a melting pot of cultures that translates directly into their entertainment. While Somalia's evenings are for introspection and community bonding, Trinidad and Tobago's are for outward expression and joyous celebration. Both offer unique experiences, just on entirely different ends of the spectrum. If you're looking for a quiet, reflective evening, Somalia might offer that in its own way. If you're looking to dance till your feet hurt and meet people from all walks of life, Trinidad and Tobago is calling your name.
It's fascinating how geography and cultural values shape what nightlife even means, isn't it? From traditional poetry in Somalia to pulsating soca beats in Trinidad and Tobago, it really shows the spectrum of human expression. And hey, if you're ever looking to find the perfect destination that matches your after-hours vibe, you might want to check out some travel insights on Jetofai. They have some really interesting comparisons. Ooh.
Always ready with the plug, Mira. But you're right, it truly is a different rhythm for different souls. Whether you prefer a quiet night with a good story or a wild dance-off until dawn, both countries offer a nightlife, even if it's not the one you expected. And if you like this comparison, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps us keep these contrasting conversations going.
So we're diving into family-friendly environments and children's activities today. You know, Leo, I was just thinking about my own childhood and how a simple cardboard box could become a spaceship, a castle, or even a time-traveling device. It's all about imagination, isn't it? And when we talk about nurturing kids, it's not just about flashy playgrounds. Sometimes it's about the magic we create.
Mira, I'm certain those cardboard boxes probably lead to a few bumps and bruises too. Ouch. But yes, imagination is cheap, which is good. Our topic for today is family-friendly environments and children's activities. And we're looking at Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. I'm already picturing two very different approaches to childhood fun. Mira's probably dreaming of a carnival, while I'm just hoping for a quiet corner to observe.
Wow. When I think of Somalia, I immediately picture a strong sense of community and very close-knit families. It's a place where children are truly at the heart of daily life. Kids often spend their days playing traditional games in open spaces, listening to elders tell stories, and learning through observation. It's not about structured playdates or fancy indoor parks, it's about communal bonds. I can just see kids running around, making up their own adventures, maybe even helping with chores in a way that feels like a game.
I imagine those open spaces might have a bit more grit than our pristine suburban parks, but you're right, the communal aspect is key. In Somalia, family isn't just mom and dad, it's aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, all living in this intricate web of support. Children aren't just raised by their parents, there means more coffee for neighborhood. This creates a very strong social fabric where everyone looks out for each other.
Oops, you're always thinking about coffee, Leo. But, yes, that village mentality is precious. I bet every day is an adventure, filled with learning practical skills alongside playful games. It's like a living history lesson mixed with endless fun. You know, kids there probably learn to tell stories from a young age, keeping their culture alive. Wow. Speaking of vibrant cultures and active kids, let's shift our gaze to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm already feeling the rhythm in my feet.
Whoa. Just a minute, Mira, I can almost hear the steel-pan drums from here. Trinidad and Tobago, on the other hand, just screams celebration. For children, this means a world bursting with color, music, and natural beauty. Ink endless beaches, lush rainforests, and the infectious energy of carnival season, even the mini carnivals. The activities are often outdoors, from swimming and snorkeling in turquoise waters to exploring wildlife.
Exactly. The sheer joy of it all. Oh, Imagine growing up with calypso and soca music as your soundtrack, Leo. Kids are naturally exposed to dance rhythm and artistic expression. It's not just about participation, it's about embodiment. I bet family friendly. In TT means everyone, from toddlers to grandparents, is grooving together at a street party. What a dream. And if you're enjoying our little global tour, don't forget to like this video on YouTube and tell us in the comments which country's vibe you prefer for kids.
I'd probably need noise-canceling headphones for that, but I get your point. While Somalia offers a more traditional, community-centric approach to raising children, emphasizing oral traditions and collective responsibility, Trinidad and Tobago provides a high-energy, culturally rich environment. It's a sensory explosion with music, dance, and nature's playground, both, in their own unique ways, nurture kids and strengthen family life, just with different decibel levels.
It's true. In TT, kids can learn to swim with sea turtles one day and perfect their carnival dance moves the next. Wow, it's a very dynamic environment that encourages outdoor activity and creative expression. While Somalia might focus on storytelling around a fire, TT might be teaching kids about the history of steel pan music. Both are invaluable for a child's development, just in different flavors. Ooh.
So I think they'll in charge of that. So, whether you prefer the quiet strength of communal bonds and traditional play in Somalia, or the vibrant, rhythmic, outdoor adventures of Trinidad and Tobago, both countries offer environments where children are deeply valued. Just choose your adventure, or maybe your volume setting.
Oh, we're diving into a topic that's all about diversity and acceptance today. LGBT-friendly atmosphere. It's a journey, isn't it, seeing how different cultures embrace the rainbow?
Journey is certainly one way to put it. For some places, it's more of a Himalayan expedition to simply acknowledge certain communities. We're looking at Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. And trust me, these two countries offer quite the contrast, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Well, my heart goes out to any community facing challenges, but it's important to shine a light on these realities. Speaking of challenges in Somalia, the legal landscape for LGBT individuals is, well, extremely difficult. In many regions, same-sex acts are not just illegal but can carry severe penalties, even the death penalty. Ouch. It's a tough environment, and social acceptance is virtually non-existent due to deeply conservative cultural and religious norms.
You're being diplomatic, Mira. Let's just say if you're expecting a pride parade in Mogadishu, you'll be waiting a very, very long time. The phrase "zod" an understatement there. It's a stark reminder that while some parts of the world are celebrating love, others are, well, not. I'm certain our listeners understand the gravity of that.
Indeed. It highlights just how vital it is to foster understanding and respect everywhere. And we shift to Trinidad and Tobago, and there's a different story unfolding. Oh. In 2018, the High Court decriminalized same-sex sexual activity. Well, that was a significant step forward, making it the first English-speaking Caribbean country to do so. It shows progress, doesn't it?
Progress, yes. Aha! Though I imagine if you ask some folks on the street, they might still give you the side eye. If you're holding hands with someone of the same gender. Decriminalization is one thing, full social acceptance is another mountain to climb, as they say. It's like telling me I'm allowed to eat broccoli, but then giving me that look when I actually enjoy it. Oops.
But you're right. Public attitudes can lag behind legal changes. While there's a growing LGBT advocacy movement and even small pride events in Trinidad and Tobago, discrimination and stigma still exist. But the fact that there's a conversation, that there are visible communities fighting for rights, that's a huge difference from Somalia.
A massive difference. It's like comparing a whisper to, well, a very stern. non-negotiable silence. In Trinidad and Tobago, you can find a burgeoning community, some supportive spaces, and even a nascent nightlife scene, though it's still largely discreet. Contrast that with Somalia, where even discreet existence can be fraught with danger. Whoa. It puts things into perspective about the global spectrum of human rights. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you have thoughts on this, please do share them in the comments below.
Speaking of finding safe spaces, it's really about where individuals can simply be themselves, isn't it? In Trinidad and Tobago, there's a path, however challenging, towards greater inclusivity. They're exploring their own rainbow, one step at a time. Oh, it's inspiring to see activists working to change hearts and minds, even when the political will for further legal protections, like same-sex unions, moves slowly.
Slowly as in snail on molasses slow, perhaps. But to their credit, the conversation is happening. In Somalia, unfortunately for many, the journey towards inclusivity means literally leaving the country to find safety and acceptance elsewhere. Ouch. So when we talk about a friendly atmosphere, it's not just about legal frameworks, but the day-to-day lived experience. If you want to learn more about safe travel for all communities, head over to Jeddah AI for some great resources.
Yes, safety is paramount. And I believe that every country, no matter where it is on this journey, can benefit from embracing diversity. Oh, because, as I always say, love grows when shared. And a world that celebrates all its colors is a much brighter place for everyone.
A brighter place, indeed. Though I'm still trying to figure out if that broccoli comparison actually landed for our listeners. But on a serious note, the contrast between Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago on this particular topic is a stark illustration of how varied global attitudes and protections are. It's a reminder to appreciate progress, no matter how small, and to acknowledge the immense challenges that still exist.
Oh, all right, Leo. So we're diving into hospitality and attitudes towards foreigners. This is one of my favorite topics because who doesn't love a warm welcome? We're talking Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. What a mix.
So, I think that we can counter that. Yes, Mira. From the land of intense flavors to the land of rhythmic vibes. What a combination to discuss human interaction, right? I'm already picturing a very different spectrum of welcome. One might offer you a cup of tea, the other might hand you a rum punch.
Wow, you've already got the entire trip planned in your head, haven't you? So, let's start with Somalia. When we think of hospitality there, it's often described as incredibly deep-rooted, especially within traditional communities. It's like a guest isn't just a guest, they're almost a sacred responsibility.
Right, it's the Marty Sharaf guest of honor concept. You're practically family the moment you step through the door. I mean, if someone offers you their last oats too, that's commitment, isn't it? My last guest just got a stale cracker. Oops. And I still made them listen to my jokes.
Oh, Leo, I'm certain your guests were thrilled. But speaking of that warmth, it's a profound cultural thing there, tied closely to clan and family structures. If you have a connection, even a loose one, you're practically royalty. It's like finding that long-lost cousin you never knew existed, and suddenly you're invited to everything.
So, it's less about your sparkling personality and more about your family tree. Got it. I'll make sure to carry your laminated family album next time. My great Aunt Mildred was quite the traveler. Maybe she knew a guy who knew a guy. But seriously, this intense hospitality can sometimes come with a cautious curiosity from locals, especially given, the news.
That's a very fair point, Leo. The media often paints a very different picture, so initial interactions can sometimes be tinged with that. But once you show respect for local customs and just, well, be human, that warmth often shines through. It's about bridging that gap with a genuine smile and maybe a few broken Somali phrases. Mahad Saned, thank you goes a long way.
Mahad Saned. adding that to my mental phrasebook for when I inevitably offend someone accidentally. Speaking of easy communication, let's pivot to Trinidad and Tobago, where English is the official language. That certainly makes things less guess the gesture for visitors.
Imagine trying to explain your love for raw octopus soup through charades in Somalia. Ouch. But in Trinidad, you can just say, "I'd like a doubles, please, with sly pepper." And boom, communication success. The hospitality, there is pure joy, a vibrant, multicultural fiesta.
Oh, the multiculturalism is definitely what sets it apart. It's a blend of African, Indian, European, and indigenous influences, all stirred together with a spoon of don't take life too seriously. It's like a cultural potluck and everyone's invited. Aha! They want you to lime, hang out, and truly experience it all. No family tree required, just a willingness to, dance badly.
And if you dance badly, they'll probably just teach you new moves. That's the beauty of it. The carnival spirit spills into everyday life. It's welcoming, festive, and inclusive. You just feel pulled into the rhythm. I bet our listeners who've been there are already nodding their heads, thinking, "Yep, that's Trini hospitality." If you haven't, guys, go check out some videos on YouTube. You'll see what I mean.
Dance badly is my default setting, so I think I'd fit right in. It'd probably become the unofficial court gesture of the carnival. Behold, the awkward tourist, doing the flamingo with 2 left feet. But honestly, that level of openness is fascinating. It's a testament to how diversity can create such an inviting atmosphere.
It really is. From what I've heard, Trinidadian and Ness are generally very friendly, open, and super eager to share their food, music, and dance. They want you to experience their Trini to debone local pride culture. It's a powerful lesson in global friendship, don't you think?
Indeed. While in Somalia, the warmth is deeply personal, often rooted through existing connections or earned respect. Trinidad and Tobago offers an immediate, vibrant embrace of difference. It's 2 different approaches to making you feel at home. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Do you prefer the honorary family treatment or the instant party welcome? Let us know in the comments on YouTube.
That's a great question. Both have their charms, right? For Somalia, it's a deep, protective welcome. Once the initial caution is overcome, where respect and understanding of local customs are paramount. For Trinidad and Tobago, it's an exuberant invitation to join the diverse celebration.
So, to sum it up, Somalia, a deeply personal connection awaits once you've shown you're not there too. Say, critique their goats too. And Trinidad and Tobago, where the party's already started, and they just need another dancer. Oops, did I just generalize? Either way, you're in for an experience.
You always find a way to make it sound like a quest, Leo. But that's the joy of travel and understanding different cultures, isn't it? Whether it's a quiet, profound welcome or a loud, joyful embrace, both countries offer something truly special to visitors. It's all about finding those bridges across cultures. And hey, for more detailed insights and travel tips, don't forget to check out Jet Off AI.
Jet Off AI, our steadfast companion in this journey of global enlightenment and comedic mishaps. Good call, Mira. Because while we can talk about hospitality, nothing beats actually experiencing it. Though I'd still pack my own coffee just in case.
Oh, internet infrastructure and digital facilities. I mean, honestly, can you even imagine a day without Wi-Fi? It'd probably just start talking to the pigeons for entertainment. Well, my brain would just switch to survival mode, humor edition.
Pigeons probably have better data plans than some of the places we're discussing, Mira. You'd probably try to teach them TIKTOK dances too. Oops. Speaking of connectivity, let's cast our discerning gaze upon Somalia. A country that's, shall we say, been on a bit of a digital journey.
A digital journey indeed. You know, Somalia's story is really a testament to human ingenuity. Despite all the challenges, they've truly leapfrogged a lot of traditional infrastructure and gone straight to mobile. I'm certain that our listeners there would agree, mobile money is huge. You see people paying for everything from their morning coffee to, I don't know, a fresh catch at the market, all with their phones. It's like a financial don'ts.
A fresh catch. Oh, I'm picturing a digital transaction for a particularly feisty fish. Wow, that's next level fintech right there. Here I am, still fumbling with my credit card at the self-checkout. Meanwhile, over in Trinidad and Tobago, things are a bit more plug and play, shall we say. You're not likely to be bartering data for a mango, though I'm sure someone's tried it. Their infrastructure is generally more robust, with fiber optic reaching many homes.
Yes, that's such a stark contrast, isn't it? In Trinidad and Tobago, you're looking at pretty consistent broadband, especially in urban areas. It's a country that's embraced digital transformation with a lot of government initiatives. They're trying to push aggravancen in to make things seamless. No digital goat transactions there, I presume.
Probably not for goats, unless it's a very specific niche market. But let's not pretend even the most advanced infrastructure is perfect. I'm sure someone in Port of Spain is still complaining about their Wi-Fi cutting out during an important cricket match. Ouch. It's one thing to have the fiber. It's another to get reliable, consistent speed without those sudden internet timeouts. You know, like when your video call freezes and you're left looking like a surprise statue.
Oh, I've had that happen. My face just stays in a perpetual pose. Oops. But seriously, the push for digital access in both places is fascinating. In Somalia, because fixed lines were sparse, mobile internet just exploded. It's not just about calls, it's about education, access to information, and keeping communities connected across vast distances. It truly shows how critical even basic connectivity can be. Oh, I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this, especially those in more remote areas.
Indeed. And while mobile money is a lifeline in Somalia, it also comes with its own unique set of challenges, like security and regulatory oversight. It's a wild west of innovation which I, as an observer of absurdities, find endlessly fascinating. But for everyday users, it'd wager the stability in Trinidad and Tobago, with its broader fiber coverage and digital government services, makes life a tad less adventurous for the average internet user. Less drama, more streaming.
Exactly. While Somalia's mobile-first approach highlights incredible resilience, Trinidad and Tobago focuses on stability and expanding digital literacy. You know, making sure everyone can actually use those fast connections. Wow, it's not just about the cables in the ground, it's about what people can do with them. Perhaps watching a particularly silly YouTube video. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Or uploading one of your pigeon dance tutorials, Mira. The point is, both countries are navigating the digital age, each with its own rhythm. Somalia's innovative mobile solutions in a challenging environment, and Trinidad and Tobago's more structured approach to widespread, reliable connectivity. It's like comparing a spontaneous street performance to a well-orchestrated symphony. Both are music, just different tempos. And you can read more about these digital landscapes on Jet Off AI.
Speaking of tempos, I wonder if anyone in Somalia has tried to teach their goat to use mobile money. That would be truly next level digital adoption. Shopping. My favorite kind of adventure, Leo. It's like a treasure hunt, but instead of a map, you have your credit card and sometimes just your wits. Let's dive into our next topic, shopping opportunities and the fascinating price-performance balance in Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. What a mix, right? I'm already picturing vibrant markets and colorful fabrics. Ooh.
So I think we can carcanet. For some of us, wits are mostly for avoiding the buy now, regret later trap. While you're envisioning color, I'm calculating logistics and comparing the cost of a good cup of coffee versus, say, a goat. Speaking of which, Somalia's shopping scene often brings to mind bustling SUQs, those traditional markets. It's less about gleaming malls, I imagine, and more about essential goods and the art of negotiation.
No, you're right on the money, Mr. Observational. In Somalia, particularly places like Mogadishu, the markets truly are the heart of commerce. You'd find everything from fresh produce and livestock to household necessities. And bargaining, that's not just a suggestion, it's a full contact sport. I'm sure our listeners who visited would say the same. Imagine trying to haggle for a bag of rice. Well,
Yes, and I bet the performance part of that price-performance balance relies heavily on how good your poker face is mirror. You're not just buying a product, you're buying into a whole cultural exchange. For imported goods like electronics or certain textiles, the prices can climb because of transport. It's a classic case of supply and demand with a dash of how badly do you need this. Meanwhile, in Trinidad and Tobago, I picture a much more, shall we say, Western retail experience mixed with local charm.
absolutely. Wow. Trinidad and Tobago offers a completely different vibe. You've got modern malls, like Trin City Mall or Movie Town, where you'll find international brands alongside local boutiques. It's a real blend. Oh, and for tourists, there's the added bonus of duty-free shopping, which is always a treat. Imagine grabbing a designer perfume or some fine spirits without the extra tax. But you can't forget the local markets, like the Central Market in Port of Spain, burst spices, tropical fruits.
Heaven might be a bit of a stretch. My idea of heaven usually involves fewer crowds and more caffeine. But I can appreciate the efficiency of a good mall. In Trinidad, the price-performance balance for imported goods is probably more in line with what we'd expect from an island economy, slightly higher than continental prices, but with consistent quality. For local produce and crafts, though, that's where the real value lies, I'd bet. You're getting authentic, fresh, and often handmade items.
That's a perfect analogy. Oh, and speaking of authentic, I think in Somalia, the value is truly in the traditional crafts like woven baskets or unique garments and the everyday essentials. You're not paying for brand names, you're paying for functionality and cultural significance. If you want a luxury item, it's probably an import that carries a hefty price tag due to rarity. It's a real needs versus want scenario. You know, sometimes I'm certain that our listeners in the comments might have stories about the best bargain they've ever found in an SUQ.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm equally sure that many of those stories involve a lot of dramatic gesturing and perhaps a false departure or two before the final price is agreed upon. It's an art form, really. But for Trinidad and Tobago, the art is more about finding that perfect, unique souvenir that speaks of the island's vibrant culture, perhaps some local art pottery, or even a specific blend of spices. The quality in established stores is generally high, so it's less about the risk and more about the choice.
Wow, what a way to put it! And in both cases, you're investing in an experience, aren't you? Whether it's the thrill of haggling in a Somali market or picking out a beautifully crafted item in Trinidad, it's all about connection and discovery. I just love that. And for anyone listening who wants to dive deeper into these shopping adventures or perhaps plan their own, remember you can always find more insights and tips on Digital AI. It's your passport to smart travel, friends.
Yes, The clever platform for the clever traveler, as opposed to my method of show up and hope for the best. But seriously, if you're looking for that perfect blend of quality and cost, especially for specific items, it really comes down to what you're seeking. Somalia offers incredible value in local, traditional goods requiring a bit of grit in the negotiation. Trinidad and Tobago gives you diverse options, from duty-free imports to vibrant local crafts, often with a more fixed price structure.
Absolutely. If you're a budget shopper who loves the thrill of the hunt, Somalia's markets might be your paradise. Wow. But if you prefer a mix of modern retail with unique local finds, then Trinidad and Tobago could be your shopping dream come true. Ooh, it really highlights how diverse the world of shopping is, even between two very different countries. It makes you want to pack a bag or three. Alright, Leo, we're diving into cultural events and festivals today. And I got a feeling we're about to explore some serious rhythm and tradition. Oh, it's like asking if you prefer a quiet poetry reading or a full-on street party.
Well, Mira, my life's generally a quiet poetry reading until my coffee kicks in. Then it's a full-on street party in my brain. Our two countries for today's cultural deep dive, Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago, promise quite the contrast. I'm imagining one involves ancient verses under the stars and the other, well, a whole lot of glitter.
You're not wrong. Speaking of stars, let's look at Somalia first. When we talk about cultural events there, we often talk about something incredibly rich but perhaps less visible to the outside world. It's truly a land of poets and oral traditions. Imagine epic poetry recitations, or debate, where words weave stories more vibrant than any stage production.
Yes, I've heard that. It's a culture where the spoken word is king, not some fleeting TIKTO Kate Rand. You won't find neon signs advertising the annual epic Gabe Slam. But the reverence for poets is profound. It's more about the wisdom shared in the history kept alive, often centered around Islamic festivals like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, which are deeply communal and family-focused. I'm certain our listeners in Somalia would agree.
Absolutely. During Eid, cities and villages come alive with gatherings, traditional dances like the bura and bur for women, and shared meals. Wow. It's a time for community, connection, and vibrant traditional clothing. And for those interested in the deeper currents, these events truly showcase the heart of Somali identity. If you're looking to understand it more, check out fascinating articles on cultural immersion.
Right, so a focus on community, faith, and the power of the word. Not exactly a mosh pit, but deeply moving in its own way. Now, shifting gears to Trinidad and Tobago, that's like going from a hushed library to a sound system turned up to 11. Wow! Anyone who thinks festival immediately pictures Carnival there. And for good reason.
Oh, Carnival. It's not just a festival, Leo. It's a full-blown sensory explosion. Picture this sea of dazzling costumes, pulsating soca music, steel pan orchestras, and people dancing in the streets for days. Whoa, it's pure, unadulterated joy. My inner child, which is perpetually 18, would be absolutely living for that. I mean, who needs sleep when you have that much rhythm?
Whoa, unadulterated joy is one way to put it. I'd say it's more like a plan. Joyous, beautiful chaos. Beautiful chaos. I imagine wanting to observe the crowds there for my stand-up material would be a challenge. You wouldn't just be looking for weird outfits yourself. Oops! The sheer scale of the preparation, the artistry in the costumes are truly incredible. It's a spectacle, almost like a living art exhibit on the move. Wow!
And it's not just Carnival. Trinidad and Tobago is a melting pot, so you have Diwali, which is the Hindu festival of lights, Christmas, Eid al-Fitr, and Emancipation Day, which celebrates freedom with parades and cultural performances. Wow, The music scene is incredible too, with calypso and soca being global influences. You can find live music any night of the week. Oh, if you like this comparison, hit that like button and subscribe, so you don't miss our next deep dive.
See, Mira, you're always so good at getting those plugs in. But you're right. The diversity of celebrations in TT is something else. It's a vibrant tapestry woven from African, Indian, European, and indigenous threads. Whereas in Somalia, the cultural expression, while deep and impactful, tends to be more homogeneous, rooted in Islamic and traditional Somali customs. Both are beautiful, just different flavors of awesome.
Different flavors of awesome, I love that, Leo. So if you're craving something that feels ancient, spiritual, and rich in poetic narrative, Somalia's cultural calendar offers a profound experience. But if you're ready to jump into a dazzling, high-energy, multicultural street party that embraces music and dance like nowhere else, Trinidad and Tobago is calling your name. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Which flavor of awesome are you leaning towards? Let us know in the comments below.
Indeed. And it's not always about picking one over the other, is it? You can appreciate the solemn beauty of a Somali poetic evening just as much as the exuberant energy of Carnival. Both offer unique lenses into human expression. For more detailed insights into specific cultural trends and travel tips for these incredible places, check out Jet Off AI.
That's so true. It's about broadening our understanding of the world's incredible diversity. No matter your preference, both countries remind us that culture is a living, breathing, evolving thing. Wow, and that's something worth celebrating. Oh, so we're diving into language learning today. My brain is already doing jumping jacks just thinking about it. Speaking of adventures, Leo, what's it like trying to wrap your tongue around the local languages in a place like Somalia? I feel like I'd accidentally order a goat for dinner instead of a glass of water. Oops.
Knowing you, Mira, you probably charmed the goat into speaking English first. But seriously, trying to pick up Somali, or even Arabic, in Somalia is not exactly like browsing a menu in an American diner, is it? It's a proper linguistic mountain, not a little hill you skip over.
Wow, a linguistic mountain. I can just picture myself hiking it, getting halfway up, and shouting, "Is there a coffee shop at the summit?" For our listeners out there, if you're thinking about moving to Somalia, it seems like you're in for a significant challenge, right? Somali's unique phonetics and grammar aren't exactly learn in a weekend material. What do you guys think? Have any of you conquered the Somali language? Let us know in the comments on YouTube.
Conquer is the right word. Most of my language learning involves smiling and pointing, then hoping I don't get a bill for a small village. But in Somalia, while there's huge immersion if you're there, finding formal language schools for foreigners, outside of, say, a few university programs or private tutors in bigger cities, might be a bit like finding a perfectly brewed single-origin coffee. It's rare.
So it's less classroom instruction and more sink or swim immersion? Wow, my kind of learning, honestly. If you threw me into a market in Mogadishu, I'd probably emerge 2 days later speaking perfect Somali with an accidental new family and a camel. But it really relies on being surrounded by the language, doesn't it? Which, for some, might be an intense experience, given the region's complexities.
Intense is one word for it. My word would be terrifyingly educational. For people who already speak Arabic, that's a leg up since it's an official language. But for the rest of us, it's a whole new alphabet, a whole new sound system. There's not a huge global diaspora of Somali language teachers setting up shop in every city, so resources are a bit more niche. Ouch! You can't just download an app and be fluent, no matter how many times you tell yourself you will.
You're right. I've tried those apps and ended up asking my phone why it was judging my pronunciation. But on the other side of the world, let's talk about Trinidad and Tobago. What a delightful contrast. My first thought is steel pan music and endless smiles. But what about the language? I'm certain many of our listeners already know the official language, but is there more to it?
Oh, yes, and less chance of accidentally buying livestock, which is a plus. Aha! Trinidad and Tobago's official language is English, which immediately makes a linguistic vacation for many of our listeners. No need to learn a whole new grammar structure or phonetics from scratch. It's like checking into a 5-star hotel after camping in the wilderness.
Wow, a linguistic vacation. I love that. So, for most people, the learning curve is pretty much flatlined. Oh, I mean, you'll still pick up the Trini Creole expressions and the accent, which is part of the charm, right? It's like learning a whole new soul, but you already know the notes.
Exactly. While it's English, it's not quite the Queen's English. You'll hear phrases like liming for hanging out or mako for being nosy. Aha! But learning those colloquialisms is part of the fun, a cultural immersion in itself, not a barrier. There are plenty of local opportunities to learn too. The University of the West Indies, for example, offers linguistics programs, and just talking to locals is the best way to pick up the Trini flavor. It's truly a rich, vibrant way of speaking.
That sounds fantastic. So, if you're planning a trip or a move, and language is a big concern, Trinidad and Tobago definitely offers a much smoother entry, particularly for English speakers. Imagine trying to navigate a new place and not having to worry about accidentally insulting someone's grandmother with your broken phrases.
Exactly. And in terms of formal learning, because English is official, you'll find plenty of resources should you need them, without the same logistical challenges you might face elsewhere. It's a country where, if you speak English, you can genuinely integrate from day one, and then deepen that connection by embracing the local Creole. Oh! If you're enjoying this linguistic ride, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe on YouTube for more of our global comparisons. And check out Jet Off AI for more travel insights.
Jet Off AI is your go-to for smooth travel, not accidental go purchases. But speaking of connections, even if you're not to English in Trinidad and Tobago would be supported by a robust education system and a very welcoming atmosphere. It's a completely different ball game from the intense linguistic gymnastics required for, say, Somali or Arabic in Somalia. Well,
absolutely. The contrast is stark. One offers a deep, challenging dive into new linguistic waters with limited formal support, while the other provides a worn, familiar pool with lots of friendly faces splashing around. Both have their merits, depending on what kind of linguistic adventure you're looking for. But for ease, TT definitely takes the cake, or should I say, the roadie?
they love it. And that brings us to the end of our dive into opportunities of learning the local language for Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. If you have any thoughts, especially those of you living in these incredible places, please drop them in the comments on YouTube. We love hearing your perspectives. All right, Leah, let's talk about something incredibly important when you're out there exploring the world's safety and comfort for women travelers. Today, we're looking at Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa, talk about a contrast, right?
Indeed, Mira. From my observational standpoint, these two countries present quite the spectrum. One might require a full-body, high-visibility survival suit, and the other perhaps a slightly less conspicuous, yet still carefully chosen outfit.
You enjoy dramatic packing lists, Leo. But seriously, if we start with Somalia, it's generally perceived as a high-risk carrier. Ouch. For women travelers, this means a lot of prep-planning and extreme caution. We're talking about deeply conservative cultural norms, right?
Absolutely. In Somalia, cultural expectations around dress and public interaction are very traditional. A woman traveler would need to be acutely aware of local customs, favoring modest, conservative clothing, often covering everything but the hands and face. Oh, any deviation would not just draw attention, but potentially unwanted scrutiny. I'm certain that our listeners living in this country would agree with me. This isn't a place for a let's wing it attitude.
That's a crucial point. The wing it philosophy won't fly there. And speaking of social dynamics, are there official protections or community initiatives aimed at women's safety for visitors, or is it more about personal vigilance?
Based on what I've observed, official protections for foreign women are often overshadowed by the broader security challenges. Community-level support might exist within specific clans or areas, but for an unchaperoned female traveler, it's largely about self-reliance, avoiding isolated areas, and having local guides or contacts. Ouch. It's less about tourism support and more about survival strategy. What about Trinidad and Tobago, where I imagine the dance moves are a bit more fluid?
You're not wrong, Leah. The dance moves are definitely more fluid. Oh, for Trinidad and Tobago, the vibe is entirely different. It's a vibrant, diverse Caribbean nation. While not without its challenges like any country, it has areas with higher crime rates. It's generally much safer and more welcoming for women travelers in Somalia.
So, less battle readiness, more beach readiness. But even in more relaxed environments, there are near. My sharp-eyed observations tell me that relaxed doesn't always mean no issues. Is catcalling or unwanted attention a thing there? Like in some other tourist-heavy spots?
You've hit on it perfectly. While you won't need a tactical vest, common sense precautions are still key. Oh, catcalling or verbal harassment can definitely occur, especially in crowded areas, during festivals like Carnival, which is amazing, by the way, if you love color and energy. Or nuisance than a direct threat, but more of a nuisance than a direct threat, but it can still be uncomfortable. I'm actually curious about what our listeners who visited Trinidad and Tobago think about this. Do you guys agree with me?
Well, I've heard some stories about Trinidad's nightlife, and let's just say a solo woman going out needs her wits about her, just like in any big city. What about cultural attitudes and community support in TT? Is there a strong local network or a sense of shared responsibility for women's safety, or is it more individual?
That's a great question. Oh, Trinidadian culture is generally very hospitable, and there's a strong sense of community. While personal vigilance is always advised, there are local initiatives and a growing awareness around women's safety. Legal protections are certainly more robust than in Somalia. And you'll find more visible support systems. Wow. It's still wise to avoid walking alone at night in dimly lit areas or accepting rides from strangers, but that's global travel advice, right?
So, for Somalia, it's a very niche, specialized trip requiring extensive cultural preparation and security arrangements, perhaps not for the faint of heart, or for someone looking for a casual stroll. Ouch! And for Trinidad and Tobago, it's a fantastic destination, but with the usual big city smart supply, especially regarding personal boundaries and evening activities. If you're a woman traveler heading to either, do your homework, folks. And if you're planning your next adventure, remember to check out Share.
And when we upload this to YouTube, don't forget to comment below if you have any personal experiences or advice on traveling as a woman in these countries. We'd love to hear from you. It's about empowering each other with information and laughter. So we're talking about legal systems and rights today, a topic that usually makes me think of endless paperwork and tiny fonts. But with Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago, I'm already imagining two very different worlds, aren't we?
Worlds, Mira, is an understatement. I'm picturing one country where the law is written on a parchment by a wise elder under a tree, and another where it's printed in a shiny booklet that probably has a page dedicated to how to properly lime at Carnival. No offense to either, just my comedian brain's first pass.
Oh, you always go straight for the visual, don't you, Leo? I actually envision someone trying to explain a complex legal precedent in Somalia using hand gestures and a goat as an exhibit. Whoa, but seriously, when we look at Somalia's legal system, it's quite a mixed traditional customary law, Sharia law, and some older colonial influences. It's not exactly a single, unified system across the whole country.
That's where it gets really interesting, or really, let's say, fluid. Because without a strong, centralized government in many areas, the law can be interpreted quite differently from one village to the next. It's like everyone has their own version of the rulebook, sometimes written in sand. This, of course, has a massive impact on individual rights, or the lack thereof. Or the lack thereof, I'm afraid.
Exactly. I'm certain our listeners are thinking about the stability factor here. In many parts of Somalia, basic individual freedoms like freedom of speech or assembly are severely curtailed, often by conflict or non-state actors. It's a really challenging environment, especially for women and children. Ouch. My heart really goes out to those facing such hardship.
Absolutely, Mira. It's not a place where you'd casually tweet your dissenting opinions or organize a flash mob. The concept of constitutional protections, as we understand them, is often overshadowed by immediate security concerns. It's like if you're worried about where your next meal comes from, legal aid isn't exactly topping your priority list. It's a stark reality check. Wow.
Whoa, that really paints a picture. Now, let's swing all the way over to Trinidad and Tobago, which feels like a completely different universe on this front. Oh, they operate under English common law, right? And they got a proper constitution with established protections for freedoms. It's like going from a choose-your-own-adventure legal novel to a well-bound textbook.
Yes, the binding on that textbook is quite solid. Trinidad and Tobago, a vibrant democracy where the rule of law is generally respected. You've got your freedom of speech, assembly, religion, all the greatest hits of individual liberties. It's the kind of place where people might debate politics loudly on a street corner and not fear a sudden disappearance.
Oh, Leo, you're incorrigible. But that's a good point about the democratic space. While not perfect, no country's citizens in Trinidad and Tobago generally enjoy the ability to express themselves and participate in civic life without fear of arbitrary punishment. There are ongoing conversations around things like LGBTQ rights, but there's a legal framework that allows for challenges and progress.
Indeed. There was that landmark case regarding the buggery law, for instance, which showed the judiciary's independence and willingness to evolve with societal norms, even if incrementally. Wow! It's a far cry from a place where legal protections are secondary to tribal customs or extremist decrees. You can actually challenge things in court, which is a novel concept in some other parts of the world. For anyone watching on YouTube, if you've ever had to navigate a bureaucracy that felt like a legal labyrinth.
That's a great point, Leo. It's all about that framework, isn't it? Even when there are issues like police conduct or prison conditions, which can be concerns in TT, the existence of a system that allows for complaints and judicial review is fundamental. It means there's a path, even if it's sometimes bumpy, towards justice and upholding rights.
A bumpy path is still a path, Mira. And like, say, a vast desert where you're not even sure which direction to walk. Ouch. So, while both countries have their unique challenges from security in Somalia to social issues in TT, their legal foundations and the resulting impact on individual rights are on completely different ends of the spectrum. It's a powerful reminder of how much legal infrastructure shapes daily life. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Maybe check out more details on Jet Off AI.
Yes. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, everyone. Oh, it's fascinating how one country is still striving for that unified legal state, while the other is refining and adapting an already established system. One's still building the legal house, and the other's figuring out if the patio needs an extension.
And whether that patio extension is legally permissible under the local zoning ordinances. It's all about perspective.
Oh, right. Leo, buckle up, because our next topic is all about spa, healthy living, and relaxation opportunities. Just the thought of it makes me want to find a comfy chair and melt into it. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm running on pure sunshine and glitter, but even sunshine needs a little recharge, right? So, let's talk about how our chosen countries, Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago.
De-stress, you say? I thought my entire life was a never-ending de-stressing exercise involving vast quantities of coffee. Anyway, when I think of Somalia, the immediate image isn't exactly serene spa retreat with cucumber water. Whoa, but that's the beauty of looking beyond the headlines, isn't it? What I found is that relaxation there often comes from its incredible natural coastline. Think miles of untouched beaches along the Indian Ocean, which are, surprisingly, less about structured tourism and more about row.
Wow. You know, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's not about the fancy robes and soft music, but more about connecting with nature's rhythm. Oh, I can just picture myself doing a spontaneous beach dance, probably confusing a few seagulls, but who cares? For healthy living too, the focus seems to be on fresh, local foods, right from the sea or the land. There's a lot of walking and a less sedentary lifestyle in general. It's like an organic detox without even trying. Up to basics relaxation would find at Bailing.
Yeah, a spontaneous beach dance probably wouldn't fly with my personal brand, but I can see the appeal for, well, you. Speaking of authentic, it's also about community and tradition. Family gatherings and social interaction, which are deeply ingrained in Somali culture, offer a different kind of mental well-being. It's not a yoga retreat, it's the comforting chaos of connection, you know? Less downward dog, more delicious goats to with your kin. Less downward dog, more delicious goats to with your kin. And that, in its own way.
Absolutely, Leo. It's a holistic approach to happiness, isn't it? Now, shifting gears to Trinidad and Tobago, this is where you start to see a different flavor of relaxation. Oh, we're talking about vibrant, infectious energy, especially during Carnival, but even beyond that, their natural landscape is designed for chilling out. Beautiful beaches like Morocco's Bay and Tobago's Pigeon Point offer those postcard-perfect moments. You can take a dip, enjoy some local street food, like bacon shark, and just let the laid-back Caribbean vibe wash over you.
Whoa! Bacon shark sounds like something I'd try, then immediately regret on stage later. You've got the beautiful beaches, yes, but also lush rainforests and waterfalls perfect for some active relaxation. Hiking to a hidden waterfall for a natural shower sounds a bit more my speed than a mud bath. That into a hidden waterfall for a natural shower sounds a bit more my speed than a mud bath. Ooh, and while traditional spa facilities exist, especially in resorts, the true healthy living music, the music.
Exactly. It's like the whole country is telling you, don't just relax, celebrate. They have some fascinating natural phenomena too, like the mud volcanoes, which some people use for their purported therapeutic properties.
A mud volcano facial. Oops. Sounds like my Monday morning face, but with more volcano. With seriously though, the emphasis on traditional medicine, often incorporating local herbs and plants, is also a subtle but significant aspect of healthy living in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not always in a formal spa setting, but more integrated into daily life and home remedies. It's a quiet nod to ancient wisdom, something a comedian like me, who mostly relies on caffeine and sarcasm for well-being.
Well, Leo, your sarcasm is definitely a form of mental aerobics. I'll give you that. But it's true, both countries offer distinct paths to relaxation. In Somalia, it's the raw, untouched natural beauty and strong community ties. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's the vibrant culture, active outdoor life, and a touch of resort luxury combined with natural remedies.
Yeah, it's like choosing between a silent retreat where the only sound is the ocean or a party where the only sound is the steel pin. Both valid depending on whether you're trying to find yourself or lose yourself for a bit.
Alright, so from all that talk about delicious food, we're now shifting gears a bit to something a little more internal. Today, we're diving into opportunities for religious and spiritual needs in Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, it's fascinating how different places nurture faith, isn't it?
Internal, huh? Internal, huh? Hey, I was just about to make a joke about how my spiritual needs usually involve finding the nearest coffee machine. But yes, a very important topic. Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago's approaches to spirituality are probably as different as my morning mood before and after caffeine. Whoa.
You and your coffee altar. But seriously, let's start with Somalia. The spiritual landscape there is very much shaped by Islam. It's predominantly a Sunni Muslim country, and Islam isn't just a religion, it's intricately woven into daily life, culture, and even the legal system.
Yeah, intricately woven is a polite way of saying it's pretty much the fabric, right? From what I've observed in many areas of Somalia, the interpretation of Islam is quite strict. This means opportunities for openly practicing other faiths or even exploring alternative spiritual paths are, shall we say, significantly limited. It's not exactly a spiritual buffet situation. Ouch.
While the devotion and community within the Muslim faith are incredibly strong and visible, it does present challenges for religious minorities or those seeking different spiritual journeys. It's a very clear, singular path for most. But then, you look at Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a whole different spiritual fiesta. Wow.
Fiesta is right. You go from a single-lane spiritual highway in Somalia to what feels like a multi-lane, multi-exit roundabout in Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, their religious landscape is incredibly diverse. You've got Christianity in many forms, Catholic, Protestant, then Hinduism, Islam, Orisha, Rastafarians, Baha'i. It's like a spiritual United Nations. I bet you could see a mosque, a temple, and a church all on one block.
Absolutely. Their constitution actually enshrines religious freedom, which is just wonderful to hear. And you see it reflected in their vibrant cultural festivals. Diwali, Eid al-Fitr, Christmas, even Carnival has spiritual undertones for many. It's a place where different faiths don't just coexist, they actively contribute to the national tapestry. Wow. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this, especially if you've experienced this kind of diversity firsthand. Pop your thoughts in the comments on YouTube.
Yes, and that tapestry often includes some fascinating syncretic practices too. People sometimes blend elements from different traditions, creating unique spiritual expressions. It's an openness and community support for diverse spiritual growth that really stands out. It's like you want to find inner peace through chanting, prayer, or dancing under a full moon? Go for it. It certainly makes finding your path a lot easier than in places with less wiggle room.
You're right. It's about finding what resonates with you. Whether it's the deep, communal faith of Islam in Somalia or the vibrant, eclectic mix in Trinidad and Tobago, both offer unique ways for people to connect with something larger than themselves. But for someone planning a trip or considering a move, understanding these differences is key, wouldn't you say? Especially when you're thinking about finding a community that supports your personal beliefs.
Definitely. Imagine being a keen yoga enthusiast arriving in a place where your particular brand of spiritual downward dog is not exactly mainstream. Oops. You'd have to get pretty creative to find your zen. Whereas in Trinidad and Tobago, you'd probably find a yoga studio next to a roti shop and a Hindu temple. You can really plan your spiritual journey better when you have options. And for those planning Jet Off I is a great resource to learn more about the cultural nuances before you pack your bags.
And if you're looking for more details on any of these faiths or communities, we'll have related articles up on our Jet Off AI site so you can dive deeper. Oh, it's all about making informed choices. So while Somalia offers a very strong, singular spiritual identity through Islam, Trinidad and Tobago provides a rich, diverse, and openly accepted spiritual smorgasbord. Alright, Leo, let's dive into something truly fascinating: the vibrant tapestry of social equality, respect for minorities, and diversity into incredible places. Wow, it's like looking at a completely different, yet equally captivating paintings, isn't it? I'm already buzzing with excitement.
Buzzing, Mira? I'm picturing you as a caffeinated hummingbird right now. Tapestry is a nice word, Yuri, always so poetic. But let's be real, sometimes a tapestry has a few loose threads, or even a tear or two. So, tell me, which masterpiece are we framing first for our Jet Off AI audience today?
Oh, you're so observant, Leo. Always spotting the little details. Let's start with Trinidad and Tobago, a true gem of diversity, often called a callaloo culture. Well, imagine a delicious stew with every ingredient adding its own unique flavor. That's what you get there. You'll find influences from African, Indian, European, Chinese, and even indigenous peoples, all living side by side. It's truly a celebration of difference.
Callaloo culture, Sounds like my kitchen after a particularly ambitious cooking experiment, a beautiful mess that somehow works. I'm certain that our listeners in part of Spain would agree with you on the vibrancy. But even in a callaloo, some spices are stronger than others, aren't they? While it's fantastic to see such a mix, there's always the nuanced dance of how those different groups interact, especially given its history.
Exactly, Leo. It's a dance. And they dance with such joy. Oh. They have so many holidays celebrating different faiths and cultures, it's truly inspiring. Like Diwali, Eid, and Carnival, all embraced by everyone. It's a conscious effort to build a unified nation from so many distinct origins. I think it shows what humanity can achieve when it truly tries.
Whoa, humanity can achieve, that's high praise, Mira. I remember seeing a documentary about their carnival, and it looked like one massive street party, no one left out. Though I imagine organizing that many costumes and parade routes must be a bureaucratic nightmare. I'm actually curious about what our listeners who've experienced Carnival think about the behind-the-scenes equality. Are all the feathers equally distributed?
Oh, you, always bringing us back to the nitty-gritty. But speaking of complex situations, let's gently shift our focus to Somalia. Now, Somalia presents a very different picture when it comes to social equality and diversity, doesn't it? It's predominantly ethnic Somali, but with a deeply rooted clan-based system that historically has been both a source of identity and, at times, a challenge for broader social cohesion.
Oops. Gently shift, she says, as if we're easing into a warm bath. Whoa, it's more like a sudden plunge into chilly waters. Clan structures are a fascinating, if challenging, aspect of their social fabric. It's a reminder that not all diversity looks like a colorful street festival. It can be about very tight-knit groups, which from an outsider's perspective can sometimes create layers of us and them within the same nation. Ouch.
That's a very fair point, Leah. While the predominant identity is Somali, there are minority groups like the Bantu and various others who have historically faced significant challenges in terms of respect and inclusion. It's a complex legacy, and one that many in Somalia are actively working to address, striving for a future where everyone has a voice and equal opportunities.
Actively working to address is the optimistic way to put it, Mira. I'd say it's more like trying to untangle a particularly stubborn knot with one hand tied behind your back. Ouch! The ongoing security issues and humanitarian crises certainly don't make it easy to build widespread social equality when basic survival is often the main concern. It's hard to talk about inclusive policies when you're just trying to keep the lights on.
True. And for our listeners, it's important to understand that while the challenges are immense, the spirit of community and resilience in Somalia is also incredibly strong. Well, many grassroots organizations are tirelessly working towards fostering greater harmony and ensuring minority rights, even in the face of adversity. It's a long journey, but every step counts.
Every step counts, yes. And for those considering supporting such initiatives, remember to do your research. JetFAI has articles that can help you understand the local context. Oh, but realistically, for a tourist, navigating social equality in Somalia would be a very different experience than, say, asking for an extra helping of roti in Trinidad. The respect for minorities might come down to understanding local customs and knowing who's who, if you catch my drift.
But that brings us to an important conclusion. What these two countries show us is that social equality, respect for minorities, and diversity isn't a single destination, but a continuous journey. Some places celebrate their mosaic with dance, while others are still laying the groundwork for theirs. Oh, what do you think, listeners? Which journey resonates more with you? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video on YouTube too.
I think what we're learning is that true diversity is less about just having different groups and more about how those groups get along, or don't for that matter. From vibrant cultural fusions to complex clan dynamics, both Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago offer a masterclass in the ongoing human experiment. And speaking of experiments, I think it's time for more coffee. My brain just did a mental marathon.
So we're wading into the fascinating, sometimes baffling world of taxes, retirement, and social rights for our long-term adventurers focusing on Somalia and Trinidad and Tobago. Ooh, I'm already picturing someone trying to explain their tax deductions using hand gestures and a smile. It sounds like a fun challenge, doesn't it?
Fun challenge. Mirror, you make filling out tax forms sound like a game of charades. I'm pretty sure most people prefer their taxes to be less fun and more understandable. Speaking of which, you've picked countries with systems that are probably on opposite ends of the easily understandable spectrum. In Somalia, for long-term immigrants, if you even find a formal tax structure, you've already won half the battle. Wow! It's largely an informal economy there. People are usually focused on getting by.
Well, that sounds like a certain kind of freedom, doesn't it? Less paperwork, more time for, I don't know, perfecting your camel impression. But seriously, for those wanting to settle long-term, having some clarity is key. In Trinidad and Tobago, you're looking at a more conventional income tax system, right? With a tax authority, actual forms, and perhaps even online portals that work sometimes. It's like going from a wilderness expedition to a moderately organized office.
Exactly. And that moderately organized office in Trinidad and Tobago comes with its own set of rules for long-term residents. You're expected to contribute like anywhere else with a functioning economy. You've got income tax, value-added tax, and various duties. Aha, for immigrants. It's almost like a pay-as-you-go if you feel like getting registered and making sure your income is above board. Aha. For immigrants, it's almost like a pay-as-you-go if you feel like a tedious bureaucracy would agree that it's a process, but a clear one.
Oops. I'm sure there are official receipts somewhere, Leo. Or maybe it's just a nod and a handshake. But let's move on to the dream of every long-term resident: retirement. When you picture retirement in Somalia for an immigrant, what comes to mind? Is it like a grand golden years plan? Or more of a hope for the best scenario?
Oh, Mira, you hit the nail on the head with hope for the best. Ooh, Mira, you hit the nail on the head with hope for the best. State-backed retirement or pension system that long-term immigrants could easily tap into. Social Security as we know it is largely absent. Most people rely on family networks, remittances, or private savings if they can manage them. It's a system built on resilience and community support, not government checks. If you're planning to retire there, you'd better bring your own pension plan in your suitcase.
That's a huge contrast to Trinidad and Tobago, where there's actually a national insurance system, NIS. Wow. Long-term immigrants who contribute to the system can become eligible for various benefits, including old age pensions, once they meet the contribution requirements and age criteria. It's not a luxury cruise, but it's a tangible safety net that provides some peace of mind. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this, which one feels more reassuring for their future.
Reassuring is definitely the operative word, Mira. In TT, there's a framework. You pay your dues, you get your benefits. It's predictable, which is a rare luxury in some parts of the world. For social rights and safety nets, Trinidad and Tobago also offers public health care facilities and some social assistance programs for eligible residents. While it has its challenges, there's an infrastructure to support citizens and long-term immigrants. We'll be detailing more about these on Jet Off AI, so check that out.
And in Somalia, healthcare and social support for immigrants would primarily come from where? Is it mostly NGOs, private initiatives, or just a strong belief in shared hardship? Because it really underscores the need for self-reliance and community ties. Oh.
Precisely. In Somalia, long-term immigrants would largely depend on private healthcare options, international aid organizations, or community-based support systems. The concept of state-provided social safety nets for healthcare or unemployment, similar to what you'd find in TT, is still developing. It means a long-term immigrant really needs to plan carefully and have significant personal resources or a strong support network. It's a stark reality check on global inequality. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, Leo. It highlights how important it is to research every single detail when considering a long-term move. Wow. From the complexities of taxation in TT to the reliance on community in Somalia, it's a world of difference. It's not just about what you gain, but what safety nets you might be giving up. Oh, just this morning I was trying to teach myself to juggle 3 coffee cups empty ones. Thankfully, and it made me think about all the incredibly specific, sometimes utterly bizarre interests people have. Like, who wakes up and decides today, I'm going to master synchronized interpretive dance with household appliances. Wow. So, speaking of those unique passions, let's dive into how differings for enthusiasts and how they foster those very niche interests. Our current topic, we compare the rate of meeting specific interests into countries.
Mira, only you would turn near disaster into a philosophical inquiry about human hobbies. I can just picture you mid-juggle, suddenly having an epiphany about the existential pursuit of the perfectly balanced teacup. Aha! And I'm certain our listeners are already wondering if we were actually going to talk about countries or just in the rest of mind keeping it that way. My coffee is actually still warm, which is a specific interest of mine keeping it that way. But you're right. It's fascinating to see how passions come to life in different corners of the world. So, for our final comparison of this episode.
Don't worry, I won't juggle your coffee, Leo. But let's start with Somalia. When we think about meeting specific interests there, it's often rooted deeply in community and tradition, rather than formal clubs as we might know them. Wow. For instance, the art of oral poetry, known as gabaye, is a vibrant, living interest. Storytelling and verbal art are celebrated, passed down through generations. Imagine a community gathering where epic poems are performed and debated. That's a whole different kind of interest group, isn't it?
Aha! You're right. It's less about a monthly meeting at the community center, and more about the fabric of daily life. I once saw a documentary about nomadic camel herders and their knowledge of animal husbandry, tracking, and desert survival that's a masterclass in specific interests. Whoa! It's not a hobby, it's a way of life, elevated to an art form. And I'm willing to bet their camel racing interest group is far more intense than any amateur jogging club you'd find in, say, my neighborhood.
Exactly. And the spiritual and religious practices in Somalia, particularly Quranic studies, also form a significant interest for many. It's a deep-seated intellectual and spiritual pursuit. Oh, people dedicate their lives and interpreting texts. It's a very communal way of fostering a shared passion. So, while it might not be butterfly collecting, it's a profound, deeply respected, specific interest.
Right. But it definitely highlights a different cultural approach. You're not going to find a Somali amateur ornithology society, probably. But I bet you could find a dozen people who could identify every single bird call in their local area just from pure, ingrained knowledge. Wow. It's about practical, community-driven expertise. And I respect that it's like having a hyper-local, organic encyclopedia walking around. My specific interest often involves finding the weirdest local coffee. Sometimes it's good.
Speaking of vibrant and less ouchy experiences, let's swing over to Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa, talk about a country where specific interests burst to life with color and sound. Ooh, their carnival isn't just a festival, it's a whole universe of specific interests. Costume design, calypso and soca music composition, steel pan arranging, Muzz band organizing, every single aspect is a passionate. Year-round pursuit frigate tis a passionate. Year-round pursuit frigate party on Earth.
Ah ha ha! I've heard about that. I imagine if you tried to join a Trinidadian steel pan band, they'd look at you like you just asked to play the triangle in a symphony orchestra. They take their music seriously. And cricket, that's another huge one. You'll find passionate cricket fans in amateur leagues everywhere. It's a sport, sure, but it's also a specific social interest complete with its own rituals and debates. I'm pretty sure their cricket arguments are more intricate than most international peace treaties.
And beyond Carnival, think about things like birdwatching in the Oster Right Nature Center. Or the sheer variety of culinary interest. Trinidad and Chinese, you have people passionately pursuing Indian, African, Chinese, and Creole cooking styles. It's a fusion of specific interests on a plate. I'm actually curious about what our listeners think about this. Do you think eating delicious food counts as a specific interest?
I agree, Mira. Especially if it involves tracking down that one legendary doubles vendor. That's a specific interest, a mission, a pilgrimage. That's a specific interest, a mission, a pilgrimage. Vibrant festivals, and a strong culture of competitive but joyful participation. Trinidad and Tobago definitely has a higher rate of meeting specific interests in the conventional sense. But Somalia offers those profound, community-rooted interests that are integral to survival and tradition.
It's incredible to see the spectrum, isn't it? From oral poetry under a desert sky to dancing in a sequin costume on the streets of Port of Spain. Oh, both equally valid, equally enriching.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this podcast, we hope our comparisons have helped clarify your thoughts. Wow, we aim to guide those wondering which suits me better. Both countries offer unique attractions, challenges, customs, and flavors.
If you've listened this far, you've earned a round of applause. We've covered everything from safety, economy, healthcare, and education to nightlife, family-friendly spaces, language barriers, and hospitality. It's enough material for a book.
We'll be back soon. So, until then, take care and see you in the next one. Warmest wishes from us.
A quick note, this podcast was recorded at Jet Off AI Studios, and we'll continue exploring new topics with their support. Please follow the Jet Off AI YouTube channel for more episodes like this. Hit that bell icon to catch our videos the moment they drop and be among the first to listen. We'd love for you to share your thoughts, comments, and critiques below. Reading and responding to them truly brightens our day. Thanks for joining us.
A big thank you to Jet Off AI for making this possible. Wow. And remember, your suitcase might lean toward the colorful beaches of Trinidad and Tobago, but your appreciation for ancient poetry might favor the quiet wisdom of Somalia.